4, 3, 2, 1. Style bender, ladies and gentlemen. Man. Salute, sir. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Dude, your fight Friday night was that was what you would call like a coming out party.
Yeah, in America.
Yeah, people got to see.
First fight in Vegas, first main event, first top 10 guy. And I feel like I got to kind of like shut a lot of people up because before that fight, a lot of people were kind of like, shit, it's too much, it's too soon. Like
the hype.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's this and that. And for me, I wouldn't take insult to it because they don't know. You know, you can't fault them for it. So
well, you did a smart thing in the way you handled your transition to MMA too. I mean, you really took your time and did it right.
100%.
When did you and I talked for the first time about this? How many years ago?
2015, I think. Yeah, you hit me up on Instagram and said, you know, when am I going to call one of your fights?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we'll take our time. Because my coach, he's the mastermind behind all this, Eugene Behrman. Without him, my career would be in the shitter. So he kind of just take our time. There's no rush.
Smart way to do it.
100%. Because you see, like, looking for a fight. Guys like, example, Sage Northcutt. He's been up and down in the UFC fight, like his rise and stuff like that. But you can't just come in here with, like, maybe 3 fights, unless maybe like a Mickey Gall, who also has extensive background in something else, like jiu-jitsu.
Right.
You know? But, yeah, I took my time, fought around the world, fought different body types, different styles. And then eventually, I think the UFC were like, okay, what do you want? Come on. Like, let's go. And then,
well, you built up a lot of hype outside. You built up some hype kickboxing. You built up some hype in MMA, but you built up a lot of internet hype.
Yeah.
There was a lot of highlight videos made of you, and people were like, oh, shit, look at this guy. And then dudes were breaking down your videos, like breaking down technique. Like, look how he sets this up. There was one that, was it Brendan Dorman? Who did it recently? Was it Lawrence Kenshin? No, maybe it was Brendan Dorman.
I saw one yesterday. Yeah, Brendan Dorman.
He did one where you set that dude up and then left high kicked him.
Oh no, that was a Lawrence Kenshin.
Lawrence Kenshin? Yeah. Dude, those guys are so important.
You know, fun fact about that kick, we're drilling it. Eugene taught it to me, that setup probably 7 days before. And he said, if this lands, it's a finisher. He said that.
Wow.
Like, all right, whatever. And then in the fight, something happened, and I didn't even think about it, just boom, and it landed. And I hurt my foot on his head, actually. I actually hurt because that was the 3rd fight of the night. So it was a tournament, so the final fight. And I hurt my foot on his head, and I was like, okay. Because you kind of see me limp a little bit. Then I went in on him and just, finished it off.
That was a beautiful high kick, man.
Yeah.
The way you set it up was so interesting, too, because you forced him into this weird battle of erratic movement. Like, you did a lot of this with him.
You got to take care of this first. A lot of guys think, like, with Faraz Sahabi, what he said, take care of this, scramble your brain.
Dude, Faraz Sahabi's a treasure.
100%.
He's a treasure.
I like the way he thinks. And I listened to that podcast, and, when he said that, I was like, that's what we do. I like to make these guys second-guess themselves. Like, just get stuck, like, okay, he's right here. Like, okay, I got to reset right here. Okay, cool. Oh, just got jabbed. And then they just get flustered. And they can talk all this stuff like, oh, we're going to do this and that, right? And it's different when you see it on TV, but when you're in, because I've had it done to me. I've got teammates that do it to me all the time. If I'm not on my game, they do it to me. And I'm like, so this is what it feels like. Like, I don't want to be on the other side of that. So
if you come in overtrained or just sick
not
or lazy.
Having my day. Like Dan Hooker will catch me on some days.
Dan Hooker's a beast, man.
Well, that's my guy, bro.
Ooh, he's a serious
3 of us,
dude.
So it's been like 3 weeks. Shane Young in Singapore. Myself Friday night, and Dan Hooker on Saturday.
Dan Hooker's one of them never celebrating the octagon guys either. He's all angry even after he wins.
I call him Vegeta. Remember in was it 219? He looked at you. He told me it didn't mean to, but he looked at you. He's like, "Do you know who I am now?" And threw his mouth guard at the cage. But he said it went through the cage and hit you in the chest or something.
Is that what he said to me? Do you know who I am now? I knew who he was.
Of course you did, but like it's because like the UFC wasn't really like putting him out there. They kind of like just sleeping on him, so he felt frustrated.
Yeah,
like
I get it.
Yeah,
that's just because he's so ambitious.
Yeah, 100%.
But I don't have nothing to do with that.
Yeah, of course I know.
Yeah,
third party. But
all I do is sit down and call fights.
Me and him go at it. Me, Carlos, me, John Vake, BJ Bland. Like so many. Like people don't know yet. I've told them like when K1 was the pinnacle of combat sports, right? New Zealand, Australasia was on top. You had Ray Sefo, Mark Hunt, Doug Viney, Jason Vimore, Jordan Tai, guys from that side of the world, running it, and other sides of the world as well. But I felt like we fell off, and then New Zealand combat sports kind of took a lull for a few years, a long time, and now we're doing it again. Like guys like me, Dan, Shane, Kai, we're about to like take it to the next level, and then bring NZ sports again all the way up.
Well, you know what's interesting is that New Zealand in particular, like you guys, there's something about having you guys come over here, and there's not like a long history where people think of, you know, like New Zealand MMA fighters, but New Zealand kickboxers. I mean, it's one of the most rich environments. Like think about all the different high-level kickboxers that came out of New Zealand or Australia for that matter.
100%, Australasia in general.
Yeah, crazy
100%.
number of like really high-level kickboxers.
Like when I came to help Rumble with his camp for John Jones, because Rashad linked it up and said, you should come help us out. And I said, yeah, sure. So into Black Zillions when it was still around. And I was surprised. I was like, man, the stand-up in America is not even close on our level. The grappling, the wrestling, because you guys have it in schools, and all the Brazilians come here and open schools and stuff like that. But the stand-up was not on our level. So I told Eugene that, and he's like, good. I wanted you to know that, because Doug had the same thing when he went to Vegas. And then he saw like, man, these guys, their stand-up's not really on our level. So we've always had that. I don't know where it comes from. There's like a whole lineage of it. Even Ray Sefo, we come from the same school.
Sure.
BLG school. But yeah, grappling and stuff, I feel like we were behind at first because of, you know, internet. We get seminars and shit like that. And I've got obsessive trainers like Adam Johnson. He's my jiu-jitsu coach in a way. And he's just obsessed. So they're constantly like upgrading everything. And I think it went for, I didn't really get to use my jiu-jitsu much, a little bit in that fight, but the takedown defense, that's all Andre as well, my wrestling coach. He's a Romanian guy. So we don't need to like go anywhere else. I feel like we've got people where we are, and we're stacked enough to be able to level up and compete with the rest of the world.
Well, if you've got someone like Dan Hooker in your camp, just that alone, when you have guys like you and him together, that's what forces everybody to the next level. And everybody around you will rise up too. They'll see what you're doing. They'll see your fight with Tavares. They'll see some of your fights online. They'll see you in the gym.
Yeah.
And when you have a guy like that in the gym, I've always experienced this in jiu-jitsu and everything else. Everybody else's level rises up to try to catch up to that guy.
100%. Because all they see, like you guys, or what the world sees is just us on TV. And then they see like the highlights, the cool stuff. But my teammates get to see me fuck up all the time. They see me get my licks.
Of course.
So when they see all that stuff, then they see me on the world stage kicking ass. And they're like, man, of course, I can do this. Like Brad Riddell, badass kickboxer, world champion, one of my teammates, Angry Panda. But he's making his move to MMA right now. But he's another one of those guys that kickboxing doesn't really do it for him. He's like built like a Chad Mendes type guy, short, stocky, but pretty thick, and he can wrestle, you know, but no one knows it yet. So whenever he comes into MMA or the UFC, then everyone's gonna be like, okay, take him down. Let's see what can happen. But yeah, they find out eventually.
Yeah, there's guys from that section of the world. I mean, you really stop and think about between New Zealand and Australia, how many world-class kickboxers? Holy shit.
A lot. Yeah, and they've run through, not just from this era, but even back in the day.
Right, but Dennis Alexio, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't? Yeah, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
See, for me with kickboxing,
or is he from Hawaii?
I know, like, say, up to Ray Sefo's days, like Mark Hunt, but I never really invested in K1 back in the day.
I'm thinking of Stan Longinidis. I think Stan Longinidis was from Australia.
But I know, like, there's a deep rooted history in kickboxing in Australia and all that kind of stuff.
Why? What happened there? How'd that get started?
No idea. That's the
Crazy.
thing. I could sit there. If you want to speak to someone, Eugene would be the guy, or Tojo. They're the guys that have the history just up here. But for me, I just came in and I enjoyed it, and I jumped in the pool. Well,
from the United States, there are some big kickboxing camps, but also you get a lot of guys who've come here from Holland and from other kickboxing-rich places and
like
try to enter.
Hooft, he's another guy right now.
Sure. And of course, guys who fought over there and came over here, like Alistair, and guys who entered into MMA. It is interesting that, you know, for MMA gyms, there's like a certain level of striking. And then you see like a Nicky Holtzkin will come and start training with those guys, and you realize, like,
he was there when
Jesus.
I was there. I was watching, a little bit of his sparring. He's good. What's happening to him now? I haven't seen him in a while.
I think he's boxing now.
Real?
Yeah, I think
like Tyrone.
Yeah, I think he's decided that there's more money in boxing. Yeah. And, you know, he's winning
He's
some.
got good hands as well.
He does. He's got a nasty left hook.
Yeah,
you know?
that body rip. Yeah, I like his style. But I think kickboxing, like, if I wanted to take the boxing blueprint, I could have done that, because I'm 6-1 in boxing as well. So I could have done that and just got built up, fight, like, you know, the cans, fight some champions, local champions, some national champions, and eventually on the world stage. But for me, I never wanted to feel vulnerable. I never wanted to feel like another guy could kick my ass in another. Just like, you know, Floyd Mayweather, they're about to do this fight with McGregor Part 2. And they had all these stupid rules like, okay, no.
I think that was all fake.
Yeah, I know. But like, even if the idea of it, I'm like, if you're going to do it, just jump in.
Right.
What are we doing? It's like, okay, you're a man. Like, yo, fuck you. We're going to do it man to man. But no kicks though. No kicks though. No, no knees. No elbows. And I had that, like, it's just, I don't understand that. I'm like, why? If you want to prove you're the best fighter, you have to fight people from other codes.
Right.
And this is at the UFC, that's the highest level. You know, so
have you entered into any wrestling competition or jiu-jitsu
grappling competitions? I have. I normally place. I never been first.
Or?
Yeah, submission. Yeah. I've never been first, but I'm like either second, third, or somewhere else. But yeah, I've only ever done maybe 4 or 5 in my career.
You have a specialty though, and I've always felt like guys who have a specialty, if they can get to a certain amount of good at this other thing without abandoning their skills as a specialty,
100%.
they're always going to have that giant advantage.
I agree. You know? It's just same thing. Whatever got them to what they're good at, and they say boxing, wrestling, they can do the same thing. Sure. Like Gary Tonin was a fight. He had a 1 FC or one championship, and he knocked the guy with the 1-2.
Yeah.
That wasn't a jiu-jitsu style punch. That wasn't like an amateur, like a guy who's never strike before. He actually looked like he was flowing well with a stand-up. And that's because same thing happens in jiu-jitsu, or whatever made him great at grappling can make him great at stand-up as well. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's obviously the added element of getting hit that some people can't psychologically handle as well. Yeah, we know those. It makes a big difference. I used to be, but then like now, even I watch my fight after it happened, I look. I keep looking at what's happening. I'm searching for people. I'm searching for shots or whatever. But a lot of people kind of like either flare, close up, or they not turn away, but like they just try and use the wall. And you can't really use that in MMA because the gloves, they don't help. But in kickboxing, you can just like... Right. Like you were there in LA when I fought for the Glory World title. Yes. That kind of style, like you can just juggernaut. Walk down and beat the legs with those or whatever. Big pads. Exactly, the big gloves. Big gloves. You can still find your ways around them, and they made the ring was probably, if you put 3 of these tables together, that was the ring. It was a smaller. They're trying to rope you in. I cracked the code. I was able to get my footwork around them. Even this cage was big enough, and people were like, "Was the cage smaller?" I was like, "Yeah, but it was big enough for me." The thing about that Palms cage that I really like is I feel like it's the right size. I like the setup. I feel like the regular UFC cage is big, and I like that it's big, but it might be too big. Yeah, that cage wasn't too big for me. It was small, but it wasn't like, oh my God, like in a phone booth or anything. No, I mean, it looked like you had massive, a lot better than a kickboxing ring. Yeah, 100%. I mean, think about that. It's very rare you get a boxing ring that has anywhere near the kind of distance from corner to corner. Yeah. But the UFC, there's some pros and cons, I think. But it's a con when it's a fight like Ngannou versus Derek Lewis. That's when it's a con. I have a video of me before that fight that I was yelling, "Somebody's gonna die!" I know. Everybody thought that. Dude, coming into that fight, when I saw Francis weigh 253, I was like, "Oh shit, he's in shape." Yeah. He looked jacked. He looked jacked. Yeah. He looked like he took it very fucking serious. I thought he was gonna realize that he got out wrestled and out conditioned. He's gonna come back guns blazing and try to put a beating on Derek Lewis, but he was so tentative. Like, even with a fight like Stephen Waterboy Thompson and Darren Till, that fight, people were like, it was boring. I was like, hell no. Like, I enjoyed that fight. Right. It was just small margin for error. 2 stand-up guys who, you can understand the game where it's like the foot placement, feints, all that kind of shit. Yeah. And then people were like, that sucked. I was like, well, you don't understand, striking on that level. But that Derek Lewis fight, and Francis, it was like, I tried and just it was just, it was weird. It was the number 2 least amount of strikes landed ever in a 3-round fight. Damn. Yeah. And they're both beasts. They're both, like motherfuckers. But I know. They've both been in crazy fights. Like, they've both been in nothing but exciting fights. Yeah. Oh, well. Except for, some brief moments. So it's just a psychological issue, I guess. Who knows? Francis said that. He said it was too, like, if he had, like, a PTSD from his last fight, like, that's shit, crazy. I don't want to, like, get hurt again or whatever, and he took a beating in that last fight as well. It's really crazy. He did. Yeah. I mean, people don't realize he did. He got fucked up in that fight. Like 5 rounds. What people don't see is how he felt after it 6 hours later, 10 hours later, 24 hours later, when his head's pounding and the headaches. He's got to close all the drapes and no light. Yeah, no light. It's life, huh? Yeah, man. I want to be a fighter. But the thing is, he's only been doing it for 5 years. That's what's really crazy. And that's the thing. You look at him. I'm the runt of my people. You go to Nigeria, there's literally pics of the litter. When I went back there, I'm like, you should not be playing football. Big money in it, but I think like MMA, is like you can just grab any of those kids and give them some boxing gloves, show them how to sprawl, show them how to wrestle, and they're beasts. Like 10 Ngannou's, 10 John Joneses just walking down the street. I had the same size head, and I was just a skinny boy, so I looked like a lollipop. I was a runt, bro, honestly. Like just a runt of the litter. But I had to work. I had to develop. I think maybe like around 15, I started to get taller. So every time I come back from school or from a holiday after school, it's like, there you got taller. There you got taller. And then somehow I just filled it out, realized I got athleticism. And then later on, like I was never the athletic kid playing basketball or anything like that. I was just the runt.
When did you get into martial arts?
I started in Taekwondo when I was a kid. Just because after school programs and it was fun.
Such a good one for kids, man.
Yeah, it was fun. That's why I liked that.
Yeah.
Like, Hana, do, set, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was cool. But yeah, and then I think I almost got my yellow belt. Then my mom kind of pulled me out because I was just wrecking shop around the house, kicking everything. I broke my arm doing backflips off the couch.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
she was just like, nah, no more. And yeah, I found, Ong Bak, the Tony Jaa film. I found that maybe in 2008. Yeah, 2008, early 2008, I found that, and I was about 18. And I was like, yo, this is cool. I don't know what this is. And then I found out it was Muay Thai. Found a Muay Thai gym, and then 6 weeks later, I had my first fight.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I found a video of that first fight, actually. I'll throw it up one day.
How old were you?
18. I was 18.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm glad. People are like, oh, isn't that a little bit too late? But I'm glad that happened because I didn't feel like I was worn out. Because I've seen some kids proteges, fighting from like the age of 12 or 10. And then, like in those smoker shows. And then, like, they get to a certain point and they just like, I want to do something else. Not all of them, some of them.
Yeah, they
and
get
then
burnt out.
sometimes they come back as well, but sometimes they just find, I'm sick of this. I want to do something else.
You find that a lot with, like, sons of trainers.
Yeah,
sons
it was
of
actually the son of one of my first trainer, and he's doing something else now. But, yeah, for me, I think 18 was a good year, like, good age to start, and I just felt fresh. It was something I wanted to do. After my first fight, I was just chasing that again, that feeling. Because I've always been a dancer as well, so I like that roar of the crowd. So after my first fight, again, people were like, bro, that was sick. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do? I don't remember it.
You just went into a zone?
Yeah, bro, I was scared. The guy looked like David Tua. You know when David Tua had that haircut?
Yeah.
He was not 80 kgs. He was probably like maybe 92.
What is 92 in
pounds? Okay, maybe 205. So 80 kgs would have been like, say, 185, 175 or something.
So he was way overweight?
Yeah. But my trainer kind of he was a crazy dude, so he just let it go. And that when you have to realize that at a certain point, I realized, okay, this is not the guy to get me to that level I want to be. So I left and I moved to Auckland, New Zealand, Auckland, the main city.
Was your trainer encouraging brawls too much, or what was it?
He wanted me to fight his style. Like,
what was that?
Like he'd always tell me, like, you need to have your hands up, and he was a real purist of Muay Thai. So he wanted me to have that, like the sway and stuff like that. And that's the difference between someone that wants you to fight like them and someone like Eugene, my coach. When he first saw me, he just like, cool. We can work with that. Like he never tried to make me fight like him. He never tried to make me do anything like this guy. He just said, okay, I want you to jab like this. And
it would almost be like trying to get someone to write songs like the songs they write.
Exactly. It's like, this is expression. This is art. Yeah. Let me do me.
And it really is.
Yeah. And he could never understand it. He was like, put your hands up. And I like people say, yo, and people still say, get your hands up. I'm like, that's textbook. I don't read the textbook. I had to look at it. It was all right. And I like the balance I feel when I'm over here. Like my takedowns, I was able to stuff them because my hands are already low. And I can still shell up when I need to. I can still fight hands up when I need to, but I like my hands down.
There's a different consideration when you have to stop takedowns.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Even in kickboxing, my hands were always down a lot of the times.
Having the ability to get an underhook or double underhooks quickly. Yeah. But in kickboxing,
I like my jab from there, from the low.
Right, can't see where it's going. There's definitely pros and cons to everything, but a guy who's got the kind of speed that you have can take advantage many times more of having hands low.
Yeah.
It really I mean, look at Roy Jones. How can you say hands down's no good? Roy Jones Jr. kept his hands down all the time.
He had the eyes as well. I think you can train the eyes because my eyes weren't, I was always had quick reflexes, but I think you can train the eyes in certain ways just through.
Well, Roy could just land that lead left hook like a jab.
And he throws it like his shoulder. I think it
would just snap it in there, man.
Crazy.
Dude,
I remember that one with the 4 right hooks. He hit that guy with.
You remember he had giant biceps, but he didn't have big triceps.
Nah.
Like everything was hooks. It was all like from throwing
it's
punches
a lead
in the
one
bag.
as well. That's the thing. Most people were always leading with jabs as well. So that would never help him. Lead left hook, that was something different at the time that no one could figure out. They couldn't crack the code.
Roy Jones Jr. in his prime.
Yeah.
People. It's like his song. It's like his song.
Can't
Y'all
be
must have
touched.
forgot.
Yeah. Oh, they forgot.
That's what it is. Y'all must have forgot. That was his song.
Yeah.
Because people did forget. Like,
but the first boxer I ever saw when I was a kid, because I never really watched fights. I was, playing with sticks, toys, whatever, making my own shit. But I saw Prince Nassim Hamed, and I remember this when I was about 4. But he was, because I've always seen boxing on TV, but he was the first boxer I saw that just made me pause and watch and just smile and laugh. Like, what is this?
Oh, he was doing crazy shit.
Yeah, just because the way he moved, and guys I've always been drawn to guys like that, like Ali, even Rashad when he was in his prime doing his thing. Roy Jones, like Pernell Whitaker, Sweet Pea, like
dude, people forgot about Whitaker.
Exactly, it slept on him.
That shoulder roll. I mean, he was a master at that. Before we really saw it from Mayweather. Mayweather obviously has mastered it better than anybody.
Yeah.
He gets hit less than anybody that's ever lived.
Yeah.
You think about the fact that guy is 50-0, and really, I mean, you think about
still talks well. There's no slurring.
Great.
Can count.
Yeah, I mean, Conor
money.
clipped him with one left hand, like real clean, and that was it.
The uppercut.
Yeah, I mean, he hit him with a couple other punches, but none of them were like dangerous.
He rolled with them.
Yeah, I rolled with everything.
I fucked up in my fight because I at one point after I felt his jab, I was like, you know what? I can just close the distance a little bit more. And then that's how I got this shiner right here. But the right hands, this right side's fine because I was just rolling with a lot of them.
So you just underestimated his jab?
I underestimated his head movement at first. So in the beginning, he was moving away from my jab. And then Eugene said, all right, drop it down to the chin a little bit. And I did. But eventually I could adjust. I think from round 2, I figured out the range. But his jab, it wasn't as powerful as I assumed it would be. So I thought, I can just take and give. And that's how I got the shine. I ran into one of them. But yeah, it was a big mistake. Silly mistake.
So on the same card, Uriah Hall fought Paulo Costa.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of people are thinking that might be the next fight for you.
I told Dana, funny story. So we went to after my fight, I chilled in my hotel room, just hung out with my boys. But then after Dan's fight, we went out, and someone told me, "Oh, Dana's in this club. He's the same." I was like, "Oh, cool. That's whatever." And when I got some money, and I was talking to the guy that led me. And then, because he found out I'm a UFC fighter, he just led me to the private room, and I see McMahon. I'm like, what the hell? And then we just start yarning, talking to people, and he's like, I'll introduce you to Dana. And I finally meet Dana properly, and we start talking. And I dropped his name in there. I said, yeah, I want to fight Paula next. And he's like, they have other ideas, fair enough. But they've done this a long time. They're promoters, So I think what they want is me, being a bigger name, Paul being a bigger name, and we fight like in some super fight. You know what I mean? And I can see what that, why that. But for me, I wanna take him out now. He just knocked out Uriah Hall, who was talking mad shit as well. But yeah, I want to take him out now before, because we'll probably fight again. We'll probably fight more than once because he's one of those guys. Well, we'll see what happens, how long his UFC career lasts. But I think he'll probably fight. Me and him will probably fight more than once.
Yeah, I would imagine that as well. I was very impressed with him versus Uriah Hall. It was interesting because the contrast between your fight on Friday night and his fight on Saturday night.
That was just a brawl, like a technical brawl.
He got hit with a lot of jabs, but he is a relentless, marauding motherfucker. That he's very aggressive. Yeah.
And this thing's free footwork. Uriah Hall, I was watching, I'm like, why are you right there? It's easy to look good against someone who just sits right there like a punching bag,
Uriah had tremendous potential when we saw him in The Ultimate Fighter.
We all saw it.
But it also might be similar to what you were talking about with Sage Northcutt, who I also think still has tremendous potential and still very young.
Yeah.
I think there's an approach to take that you took that I think is really smart.
You know where I got it from? One of the talk shows, UFC talk shows, Kenny Florin just said it. He said, get your experience outside the UFC before you go into the UFC.
Wise words.
10 fights, 9 fights, and just fight a lot of good guys, not just
Listen to me, man.
bums.
You don't want to fight you on your second fight,
No.
right?
Yeah,
imagine,
100%, no.
imagine you're a guy, you could throw a couple of good punches, you think you're a badass, and then your stupid coach says, okay, you're going to fight this guy. They call him the style bender.
Like
okay. Yeah, I'll fuck up and do anybody, bro. I'll fight anybody. I'll fight for the title.
It's my mentality.
Yeah, those guys, they get lit up, and they don't understand. They really don't understand.
Jump in the pool too quick.
Conversation with a friend of mine who was a jiu-jitsu. He was badass at jiu-jitsu, and he said he was going to go into MMA, and I'm like, okay, how long have you been training striking? And he's like, well, you know, he goes, for the last 4 months, pretty regularly.
4 months.
I go, are you out of your fucking mind? I go, listen to me, man. He was a black belt in jiu-jitsu, like nasty on the ground. I go, think about what you could do. If I was a white belt and I came in here and I didn't know shit and I was like a strong guy, maybe, you know, played basketball or something like that. I was just athletic and I tried to fight you. How bad would you fuck me up on the ground? Right? Now, think of someone doing the exact same thing like that to you with stand-up, because you don't understand that there are guys who can do that to you. There's Tyrone Spong, there's you, there's these high-level kickboxers that you don't have a chance. You think you have a chance because you're fast. You don't have a chance. You're going to get hit. And you're going to get fucked up, and you're going to get hit multiple times. And they're going to chip away at you until they decide to move in for the kill, and then they're going to fuck you up. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. And it's almost the same as him grabbing a white belt, letting him flail around, and then eventually choking him. It's an inevitable thing. But the weird thing is some people don't see that. They don't see that someone could do to them in a certain art that they don't study.
Objectivity. That's the thing. Like, for me, I'm always thinking, like, in anything, why am I doing this? Why am I feeling this way? And that's why I said I moved to MMA, because I just know I want to be the best. You know, I could have been the best kickboxer ever. I could have been the best boxer as well. But I just thought, in my heart,
there's a guy who could fuck you up in an MMA fight.
No, just on the ground. I've seen so many street fights. So many street fights. I'm like, dude, okay, just push your knee down. And they're like just holding each other and just hitting. I'm like, you can easily just choke the guy right now if you knew what you were doing. So
that's what makes a champion.
80% of street fights end up on the ground, and people don't know what they're doing. So I just felt like I never want to be in a situation where a guy like gets me in an alleyway and tries to like fuck me up and just snap my ankle or some shit. But I just feel like I want to be able to be well versed, take care of all areas, and I'll probably never get there, but I'll die trying.
Well, how old are you now?
28. I'll be 29, dude, in a few years.
You're still literally, you're still at least a year away or 2 years away from your supposed physical prime, right? An athlete, they say that for a professional athlete, I mean, obviously they say, what is that? Everybody's different.
Variables.
But there's something around age 30 to 32 where your mind and body catch up, and you have a window there. Like Anderson Silva when he was like 30 to 32. Woo!
Just going. I remember that. Longest reign.
You would watch him and just like put your hands to your head and go, geez.
The first one I saw live was UFC 90. He fought Patrick Cote.
Oh, that was an interesting one.
Yeah, but like for me, that first round.
Very smart.
But that first round, he used like probably 7 different styles to just hit him. And then I keep saying he uses telekinesis on his knee. He just blowed it out. But like
Patrick had a fucked up knee going into that fight, I think.
Already.
It's hard to tell, but it just seemed like it gave out.
It was a good fight. Okay, he just stood on it and just like, fucked up.
I think he went to like throw a front kick and it just buckled on him and popped out.
Yeah. No, but like that fight, that first round, the way he just handled him, I was like, that's the guy.
You know what? It really did open up the recipe to giving Anderson trouble, though, because the recipe to giving Anderson trouble, Talis Latis opened it up, and so did Patrick Cote. No, but the real key was don't engage, because if you chase after him, he's gonna fuck you up. Like think like Forrest Griffin, all these different people that came at him. For sure, Chris Lieben. That was
the first one. 90 seconds.
That was the recipe for disaster. I mean, I knew when I saw that fight on paper, I was like, oh, this is crazy. You got a guy who's like the most reckless, iron-chinned marauder in the UFC, and you're putting up him against a guy who's like a ninja. And this is gonna be crazy. And this is a perfect fight. It was a perfect fight in terms of like you want to see like the effectiveness of like high level timing, speed, and perfect technique. Like woo!
Yeah, no, and the way he did it as well was clean. I think he only got hit once that fight. He landed like 100% of his shots. Yeah, in that fight. Yeah, it was beautiful.
It's crazy.
And that's our style. I was a counter striker at first. That's when I started. I was always like, I'll wait for guys to come in.
Here it is right here. I remember calling this, and I remember telling people because I was afraid. I was a fan of Anderson's from.
Look at that
watching
bounce.
him fight in England. Look at that jab. I was a fan of watching him fight in England in Cage Rage and watching him fight in Pride. And I remember saying this, ladies and gentlemen, this is a different kind of striker. Like this is one of the first times you got a high level.
Look at the looks he's giving him as well. The shoulder feints
and the lightness of his feet, man. The lightness,
just that bounce. He's on.
People forget, man. Look how good he is. Ping.
He's over.
Yeah, ping, ping. Look at that. Come on, son.
Wait for him to get up again. Yeah. And that
ping,
knee.
Ping, ping,
shit.
Ping, ping.
This is beautiful, bro.
I mean, come on, man. Almost every shot lands. He's not getting hit. It's incredible.
Ready?
Boom.
And it's over.
Insane.
And Chris was a beast, man. He could take a shot. He could take it all the time. There was one with him, not Mike Easton. It was a guy who rocked him, and as he's moving back, as he's hurt, and he drops the guy, knocks him out.
Dude.
Cold.
Yeah, no, Chris could take a tremendous shot. He had an unbelievable heart. But Anderson, I feel like that's my argument for Anderson being the GOAT.
Yeah.
There's moments that he had. Oh, it's him and Fedor, right?
Yeah. I saw his kid the other day after my fight. I didn't recognize. I was like in the elevator. I was like, "You're Anderson's son." He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Baby GOAT."
Well, the only other person is the current guy is Mighty Mouse. The only argument against Mighty Mouse is he's cleaned out division out. He doesn't have a Chris Weidman, a guy who's trying to fuck him up. He doesn't have like someone who you really give a chance.
Someone on his level, quote unquote.
Right. I mean, there's never been a situation where like Mighty Mouse had a Chael Sonnen who had him down on points in the 4th round, fucking him up, and then he catches him in a triangle.
No, that flyweight.
Flyweight, and he dominates, man. He just runs through people.
Yeah. Is he going to fight, what's his name? TJ?
Cejudo. He's fighting
on next.
Yeah, Mighty Mouse is fighting Cejudo in a rematch, which he stopped.
He's got better.
Yeah.
Cejudo got better in his, since the first fight.
Yeah, Cejudo's an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling. That's all you need to know.
And his stand-up as well is clean. He's kind of improved. I'll give him credit. Yeah,
the Wilson Hayes fight.
Yeah.
He looked like Machida.
I like his flow. Yeah.
He was crazy. He was like almost like McGregor or Machida.
Yeah.
He had that
flow, the in
stance.
and out.
Yeah, it was weird.
So he can learn fast. That's another guy great at wrestling. Transfer that greatness into learning stand-up, and now it's just mixing them together. That's the thing. If you have to learn, like GSP did, just learning how to like mesh them together without like, getting stuck or thinking too much, just flowing with it. Yeah, that's the key, I think.
Particularly the Wilson Hayes fight, because it showed that he can adjust his style like pretty radically.
Yeah.
Like when he walked out like this, I remember going, "Whoa,
what are you doing?
Is this? This is karate, man. This is crazy." You know?
Give him credit where credit's due.
Well, again, when you're a gold medalist in the Olympics in wrestling, that's a special kind of human being.
That's next level.
It's just a special kind of human being.
Even the wrestling training I do now, I'm like, fuck. Sometimes we have on Wednesdays. On Wednesdays, it's a VO2 Max called a Rate Wrestle Wednesday, just because it's like airdyne and then wrestling. It's 2 minutes on the airdyne, going hard with the heart rate monitor, trying to get to the red zone, and then wrestling for 2 minutes, trying to get to the red zone. And shout out to Kevin Bentley. He's the guy that shot on me the most this camp. So my hips were on point, because every time I'd like stuff a takedown, get back up, right, boom, another one, and I have to like, Jesus Christ, just leave me alone, because he's just on you like a blanket.
Blanket.
Yeah, so that kind of work is hard. So imagine being a gold medalist. What kind of wrestling training it takes to get to that level.
Well, that's why when you see a real high-level wrestler against almost everybody else, they have such a noted advantage in the clinch, like Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic this weekend.
Yeah.
Dominic Cruz was we're very fortunate to have a guy that knowledgeable because Dominic's knowledgeable about basically everything. He started out as a wrestler, but he understands MMA as good as anybody that's ever talked on the mic about MMA.
He's very clued up.
So when he talked about, like, he showed me some stuff that I hadn't caught about Daniel's giving up the underhook so that he could limp arm, and then Stipe would run right into the right hand, and they had it all timed out. Yeah.
Okay, I've really broken down the fight. I was already lit by that time, and I was yelling off my face, just like, wow.
Dude, when he connected and then he hit him, I don't even know if I said anything, because I remember I was going like...
I thought it was going to be 5 rounds. 5 rounds.
It was almost like there was a deja vu moment.
Yeah.
Like the world just changed.
Shit.
Like,
holy
what?
Fuck.
Did he just knock him out?
I don't know, and it was so close.
Like, oh! And
Dead
John Anik.
on the ground.
John Anik stands up. There's a picture I put on Instagram.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful picture, man, because they've been working together for so long. When John Anik stands up and DC looks at him and they're looking at each other.
It's beautiful.
Look at that picture. Come on, man. Because who the fuck else is a 2-time world champion in 2 divisions and also a commentator currently, and a great one.
Working 2 jobs.
God, I love that guy.
Man.
What a good guy.
And I like the fact that he's chunky as well. Because he just like...
Chunky's a nice way of putting it.
Nah, honestly, he's chunky.
If that was a girl, what would you call her?
Thick. He a thick boy.
Like, he doesn't give a fuck, man. This ain't even fat shaming. That's the goddamn 2-division champion.
I was talking to Ian, his nutritionist. He says like 246, but he doesn't move like 246. I was like, yeah, 100%. So it's deceptive.
Yeah.
You look at him like... Even Mark Hunt, he's another guy like that. But last Saturday, the way he was moving.
Well, Javier Mendez was talking about it in camp, and so was Bob Cook. They were telling me after the fight, they go, dude, at heavyweight, he's just knocking everybody out in training part.
Y'all must have forgot about Strikeforce. How about that? They forgot about Strikeforce.
They forgot about undefeated Strikeforce, fucking Grand Prix heavyweight champion.
Tossing out Burnett, Bigfoot dropping him, all that kind of shit. I was like, and that was Barnett with 5 rounds, and he wasn't even like, he was early. That was early in his MMA career.
Yep.
So I was like, you guys don't understand. So I thought it was going to be DC putting them against the fence, grinding them out for 5 rounds, and still beating them up, for like fucking them up, and back and forth, but knockout in the first round. That was just
Crazy.
Out of nowhere, yeah.
Crazy. I thought if DC was going to win it, what was going to happen was they were going to get into the second and third, and they were going to start getting tired, and DC's wrestling was going to take over.
Yeah, I thought it was going to go 5 rounds, unanimous to DC, but...
I felt like he had to somehow or another wear Stipe out a little bit before he gets takedowns and get him down.
Push him against the fence.
Yeah.
I thought that would be the smart thing to do.
But I thought it was real dangerous standing up because Stipe's knocked out Junior Dos Santos, knocked out Alistair Overeem, knocked out Fabricio Verdun with one punch. I mean, you think all the people Stipe's knocked out, you go, damn, and DC's coming up as a light heavyweight?
Yeah.
DC
only time we ever seen DC hurt was with Rumble, right?
Yeah, John Jones, obviously. John Jones head kicked him and knocked him out.
That's what knocked him out, Can't forget that. Yeah,
John
that's
Jones
interesting too, man.
capitalized brilliantly on a tendency. You know, he knew that DC had this tendency.
Yeah, leaning. I saw
and
that.
What's interesting is that Dominic Cruz explained this to me as well, is that this is how DC prefers to set up the single. And that he prefers to lean in
on that side,
lean in towards his right side, and then dive in on the single. That's his preferred technique. He's very strong at dragging you to the ground from that position. So he has a tendency. And
everyone does. Every level, even John Jones, myself. When I was watching my fight, I've only seen it once. I was after the fight, rewinding. I took about an hour and a half to finish watching it, just rewinding, playing, drinking with my friends, whatnot. Because they understand, like, I just like to be by myself and just chill, so they're just doing their own thing, and then we're just playing games. But I watch it to see what I did right, and I enjoy it. I was like, okay, this is what I did good, blah, 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 blah. But then I see, if I was fighting me, how would that fuck me up now?
Ooh.
Yeah. So,
that's a good way of looking
I
at
can
it,
see
man.
certain things, like, okay, I need to work on tendencies, certain tendencies, and change it up, confuse people, scramble them. Some of the things I was doing in that fight, I've never done in training. Because, example, elbow pads. I haven't really worn elbow pads in training, just knee pads. I was using that Ong Bak elbow to set up how to close the distance. And I was watching, I was like, where did I learn that from? I don't know. Like, you watch, I did it probably 3 times. I'd use the fake Ong Bak elbow to close the gap, and I'd gallop in and catch him with a right hand or something. But I never, like, certain things like that were things I did good. But then I can't really say the kind of things I did bad.
But don't give it up. But do you think that maybe that when you learn, it's almost like you're learning words, like in these words or techniques, and then combinations or sentences, and then in having the mastery of all these words, you just see a new sentence that you could say.
Yeah, I was like,
you already know how
to
throw those, obviously, even though you don't do it a lot in sparring. You just see there's something he's doing. You're like, you know what, this is what I'm gonna and then come in here and
there was like that one was nice, but there was one in my last fight before that in Arizona. Sean O'Malley throws this like spin and then the head kick, and in the fight I was like, it feels right. Boom. First time I ever landed it, and it caught him on the back of the head. I was like, oh, good. And I just kept on moving with it.
Yeah, when Yair Rodriguez 360 roundhouse kicked BJ Penn in the face, I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me, man. Because I was always wondering, when are we going to see this?
I've done one. I knocked out a heavyweight. I knocked down a heavyweight with it, like a tornado kick. And I learned that about a month and a half before. Shout out to David. He's a Taekwondo champion from New Zealand. And he told me, because I used to throw it with the right roundhouse and then spin with it, and he said that's too much telegraphing. You're showing the guy I'm gonna kick you because he'll lean back and then you come back. So he said go southpaw and use your torso. So I'll give it away. You throw your shoulder, your left shoulder from southpaw after a few right hands. So you I'm gonna throw a right hand and then spin. That spin right there, Taekwondo national champion, so you know. So that spin right there generates the force, and I was able to knock down the guy with it.
I never hit anybody with that.
Yeah.
I hit the heavy bag with that a lot.
Exactly. Make sure they can't move. So I like to do it when they're against the fence or they're against the ropes. So that way they have nowhere to go or not as much space to move around. But if you're in the open, it's hard to land that.
You know what's really remarkably effective is that Raymond Daniels side kick to jump spinning back kick.
I can do it on the bag.
Yeah, I can do it on the bag too. I definitely have did it in sparring before, but when I saw Rick Rufus, one of his first fights, it was a really important fight with a Thai champion, where he was fucking him up in the first round. We played it back because it was a really interesting moment. I think on YouTube it's labeled as the most important fight in kickboxing. And what it was the first fight where we got to see Rick Rufus in his prime face a Thai champion. And this dude, and Rick was winning in the beginning, and one of the things that he hit him with, he did that touch side kick, spin back kick in the air. This is it. The fight that changed history. Is this Lawrence Kenshin as well?
Yeah,
yes.
Lawrence.
That guy's a treasure.
Love his work.
Yeah, go Google him or check out his videos on YouTube. He's got so many
He and
awesome
Jack Slack,
breakdowns.
and I like the way they kind of work off each other as well. Like a lot of these guys, they're not really there's no competition. They're all working together for
Well, they're all very
good.
important, and Robin Black as well. Like all these guys,
he's crazy.
Yeah. What I really love about Lawrence though is that he breaks down things and shows them in slow motion, as is Brendan Dorman and Jack Slack. There's a lot of these guys that do this.
What weight was that?
I don't remember. I don't remember how much Rick weighed. I know he went up to like 200 pounds, but I think he started out in the 60s or 70s at the most. This Thai guy's pretty thick.
Check out the pants.
Yeah, well, he didn't understand how to deal with the leg kicks.
Yeah.
Like this was what chewed him up.
Yep.
But early in the fight, I think in the first round, what this is showing is how the Thai starts taking over with the leg kicks. But I think in the first round, he hit him with that side kick, jump spinning back kick to the face, and really hurt him.
Yeah.
This is Lawrence's breakdown. Instead, this is just going to show how he lost.
Yeah.
See how he tried to throw that body kick and got checked.
Yeah. Nice 4x2 though. Hit him with the. Oh,
yeah,
nice.
he hurt him with that left hand.
4x2.
Yeah, he dropped it. Oh shit.
Beautiful.
Yeah, no, Rick had his moments in this fight for sure, and it showed just what a dangerous striker he was. But we just really didn't know back then about the leg kicks. So interesting.
The Thais, they're the ones.
Yeah,
I felt some Thai guys. Their legs literally feel like just concrete.
Yeah, they're broken down from years.
And mine are all right.
Kicked.
Like it feels like a Stegosaurus is back. But sometimes when you feel it, it's like steel.
Dude, I felt the first time somebody kicked me in my leg, I felt so vulnerable because I couldn't believe how easy it was.
100%.
My first thought was, God damn, and I have to recalibrate everything I thought about fighting.
Yeah, I fought a karate guy, a Kyokushin guy, on maybe 2 hours' notice because my opponent decided at the weigh-ins, he's like, I'm not fighting him, and just fought off.
What did you do that made him say that?
I'm black. I was just he was like, nah. And then like this guy, Jamie Eads, who I've fought, I think 4 times now. So he came over to corner one of his teammates, and he was a national Kyokushin champion. He's like, I'll fight him. Cool. Jump in the ring, and it's padded fight, everything. 2 leg kicks in. I was like, whatever, I can keep going. And then by the 4th one, I remember like, ooh, okay, don't do that again. And then from there it was too late. That was only in the first round. And he ate my legs. And I remember for about 3 weeks after that fight, walking was just, I didn't want to walk. Every time I'd be like, can you pass me this? Or just like crawling places. And I would hate walking. But fun fact.
How long?
About 3 weeks. Maybe 2.5, 3 weeks after that fight. And it's just, your legs are dead, heavy, filled with blood, bruised. And it's just any little movement because your knees are swollen as well.
Sharp pains.
Oh, I hated it. Fucking hated it.
How long did it take before you recovered?
Probably, about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I heal quick. Like, honestly, it's weird.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Randy Couture, when he fought Pedro Hizzo, needed 6 months of rehab?
Shit, 6 months.
6 months,
Damn.
son.
Because he still has a dent in his leg, apparently, from that
Pedro.
fight. Shit.
Dude, Pedro gave a dent to Kevin Randleman, too.
Shit.
I never saw anybody kick a bag like Pedro.
Yeah.
Or kick a people. But I was at Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu in like the mid-90s, and Boss Rutan was running it back at the time, and Pedro Hizzo was over there. And Marco Huas, dude, they had this big-ass 200-pound fucking heavyweight, and Pedro Hizzo folded that thing.
Shit.
It made me so nervous.
Was it hanging off the ground, or was it touching?
Yeah, it was hanging off the ground.
Shit.
But it was just this... It was just a different sound. And
I don't think, maybe it's the bones. I think it's just heavy bones as well.
He's a dense motherfucker. Yeah. He's a thick dude.
Thick boy.
His legs were giant, but there was a feeling of this very, sometimes you hear someone or you see someone kick something or something, and you go, oh, I could never... That no one can take that. You can't take that. Pedro had that. He had that. You can't take that. He hit Rico Rodriguez once, and Rico was like, "Fuck this! I'm going down."
Check out.
He's like, "I just try to bring this guy to my guard." I was like, "Fuck you, man! I'm not standing up with you." He hit him so hard that Rico stayed on the outside the whole fight. He never really completely committed to trying to win the fight because it was just too dangerous.
That's a heavyweight, right?
Yeah.
Is the guy with the problem, PED problem? The wrong guy.
Rico? Did Rico get popped for PEDs? Maybe. I don't know.
There's a documentary on them.
No.
That's another guy
You're
from
thinking
the UFC.
of Mark Kerr.
Oh, yeah.
No, Rico, I don't think Rico got popped ever. But Rico was a Machado Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He was the heavyweight champion.
I was thinking of an American wrestler.
I think Tim Sylvia beat him for the title.
Yeah.
Tim Sylvia, when he was at the top of his game, he's a big, giant motherfucker.
Is he still fighting?
No.
Yeah, retired now.
He's just bow hunts in Iowa. He's all giant now.
Shit.
He's 300 plus.
He's like 6'9".
He's a huge person.
Big boy. I always looked at him. One thing it was just Gumby, like a big guy, but he could fuck people up.
He could fuck people up.
Yeah, and he was real for like a, like when we get a baby giraffe trying to figure out its steps, but he just knew how to move and how to use his gumbiness to his advantage.
Well, if you go to the golden age of Tim Sylvia, pull up Tim Sylvia KO's Rico Rodriguez. This is the golden age of Tim Sylvia. Back when Mexican supplements were more easy to come by.
Find
if
none
you
of
know
that.
what I'm saying? the drug test back then was like, they would like make you fill out a piece of paper. Tell me what drugs you took. Hey, I passed the test. I wrote 0.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fucking, everybody was on the sauce
honestly,
back
man,
then.
with all this PED kind of talk, for me, I thought, yeah, some people, take steroids, whatever. But after I seen Icarus, everyone's on steroids.
Well, everyone in a lot of countries.
Holy shit.
How crazy was that documentary?
Holy fuck. I was just like, everyone. But like, the cheaters are always going to be ahead of the solution, the guys who are catching them. So whoever's on the new shit, they can't get caught just yet till they update their testings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I watched that and I realized if you have the team behind you and you have people who can fund it, everyone's on steroids.
Don't you think that USADA, they hold their piss for a long time, right? Don't they hold your piss for like 8 years?
I tell them just, use it for research, whatever.
Yeah, but I think they hold on to it just in case new testing comes out.
So they can test it again.
They took gold medals away from 2 Russian cats in the 2000s because they went back and with new testing I think they found EPO in their system.
Shit.
Yeah, it's a interesting thing. That documentary was amazing.
It opened my eyes. And I had a piss test the next day as well. I came to my gym. I was like, I told the guy, I've seen this. I saw this on the documentary last night, the little cup they were using. So I was like, who knows who's on steroids now? And when USADA came through, the guys that kind of like their bodies changed. Some of the people dropped off.
Radically.
Yeah, quick. Radically. So quick.
Really quick.
And it's like,
woo!
Damn, I never thought.
Yeah.
Like
not just changed, but changed to the point where like you're not even the same person.
Yeah,
you're like doing and the guys in their 20s doing an impression of who they were just a couple of years ago on the sauce.
Yeah,
weird.
Shit's happening, man.
Well, they got caught up in a bad
I'm snitching.
loop. I saw that thing with you and the golden snitch.
He's a man.
He sent it to me. He was all excited.
He texted me as well.
He's laughing. Nowitzki's a good guy, man. Yeah. He's just like, he's got a bad reputation from a lot of people. Like,
I can be cool with him because I know me. I'm not cheating. I'm not a guy that. It's
he doesn't
never
even do that
me.
anymore. I mean, now what is his official title? It's like athlete.
But those who are cheating wouldn't be hanging around him like the way I would, or wouldn't be as friendly with him because they don't want him sniffing around. You know what I'm saying?
He's there to make sure that someone doesn't cheat on you too, though.
100%. I'm like, please.
What's so funny?
I'm not mad at it.
What's that?
It's on his Wikipedia.
What does it say? The golden snitch?
G-snitch.
Jeffrey John Nowitzki, the golden snitch, is the vice president of athlete health and performance for the UFC. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Brendan Schaub!
Made it.
Look what you did! Brendan Schaub, look what you did!
Golden snitch.
God damn, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I'm glad he's around, man. Honestly, because I don't mind being an ambassador for the sport if it's like a clean sport. Because back in the day, even as early as 2010.
Hey, find that Tim Sylvia Rico Rodriguez fight.
It's only on Fight Pass, and I don't.
That's it.
I can't find it anywhere.
Damn.
He sounds just like the voice of my head.
On YouTube?
I've been looking for a lot of different places.
It's weird, like when you look at him talking, it's like...
Oh, right, because you heard him so many times?
Yeah.
I know, it's weird being here, right? It's weird being here for me, too, man. Believe it.
Bro,
this thing freaks me out.
I quit my job September 4th, 2013. Before I quit that job, I think you were the first podcast I started listening to. Now I've got a few others, like a whole list. But I remember having those my headphones in my ear, just one, so I could focus on the other things. And my boss would just ride me for so long, like, just take that shit out your ears. Stop listening to music. I'm like, I'm not. I'm just trying to be entertained. So I don't go postal on you niggas. Honestly, because it was just, you can enjoy what you do. Some people fight. When I was living in China, I knew a lot of guys that fought, but they didn't enjoy it. They just did it because it makes good money and they get paid. And I'm like, do something else. But for me, doing that job, holy shit, soul sucking. Every single day, you wake up, train, and then it was just a block away, and I'd walk to work, and I just knew I was gonna get just ridden that day. And man, but it's kind of crazy now. I'm checking in, like I'm actually out here. Like I've listened to this for so long, and it's like, yeah, I belong here now. Like it's weird. Everything just seems normal.
Good. That's perfect. That means you hit the right time. Yeah. That means you got a good sense of timing.
Just like, because sometimes, like even in my room, I had a nice suite for this one. Shout out to the UFC.
Shout out.
There's that main event status. So I had like a nice little spot, can join the rooms with my teammates. And sometimes I'll just overlook the T-Mobile arena and just be like, okay, we've made it. We're out here. No, like we're not done yet, but
you're there.
Yeah,
you're in the hunt.
Okay, let's go. And they just can't check back in.
You're in the UFC, and now, I mean, you had to break into the top 10 with that fight. I don't think the rankings have come out.
Fuck rankings, man.
Right.
Honestly,
what are they?
It's so stupid.
You know, they fucked up Paul Felder. Paul Felder would have got that shot against Khabib in
that
Brooklyn.
fight was a welterweight, so it shouldn't even affect. It shouldn't even affect the lightweight ranking.
No, it shouldn't. But I'm not talking about that fight. I mean, the reason why Paul Felder didn't get that fight with Khabib when Tony Ferguson hurt his knee is because the Athletic Commission wouldn't recognize him. He wasn't ranked in the top 10. They wouldn't recognize him to be able to fight.
That would have been a great fight.
Great fight.
The fight, Quinta was a fucking
it was a great
dope fight. He handled that well, but
Paul Felder is a big fucking lightweight.
Yeah.
And Paul Felder has outstanding striking. That would be a real interesting fight.
100%. So just because of rankings, they didn't let that go through?
Just because of the rankings.
Who makes the rankings? That's one thing I want to know. Who decides what the, like, is it like a group of them? Nah, but like, what have they done? What's their credentials? Where have they trained? Have they fought? Are they just like analysts? Are they experts? Because it feels like if you want to be...
Instead of figuring out who did it, let's think about what you would do differently. Like, who do you think should be making the rankings? Fighters?
Maybe ex-fighters. Or like someone who's been in the sport, someone who's trained. Same thing like you say with judging. Someone who's actually like involved. That's a big one, and understand. Oh, dude, tell me.
The judging scares the shit out of me, man.
After my second fight in the UFC, I fought in Glendale, right? It was a split decision I got. In my head, when they said, you know, Israel, 50, whatever, 39-38, Adesanya, I was like, oh, fuck, God, just don't, because my win bonus. I don't give a fuck about my record. I'm just like, don't fuck me out of my money. Don't fuck with my money. Like, one other incompetent judge, and that would have been it.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
Only half my money.
Yeah.
And that would have pissed me off.
Ooh, so crazy.
So I was like, what have you done? Like, how the fuck did I lose that fight in your eyes?
It is one of the biggest problems the athletic commissions have.
Can't they just like, it seems like it's too much work. Like, shouldn't it just be like maybe a group chat? Like, okay, let's change the 12-6 elbow. Who's agree? Yep. Cool.
Oh, that's a no-brainer. That one's the dumbest one of all time.
But like, why it takes so long to try and make any change in the sport?
For years. Well, how about the weight classes?
Jesus.
You know, Kevin Lee tweeted the other day that there's something like 150 different fighters in between 155 and 170. Or I think he said more than that. I think
you hear what Michael Chiesa said?
What did he say?
About him almost dying. Felt like he was going to die when he was cutting weight.
Well, definitely don't fight at 155.
Yeah.
But
That's scary for a guy to say that.
170. It is scary. He should be probably fighting at 170.
He wants a 165 class. I read on that tweet.
Well, it's a good class.
Yeah.
It should be 55, 65, 75, 85, 95, 225.
I can do 185 and 195. If that was me, I'll take that. Though I'd be jumping between those two.
Yeah, why not? I mean, that's doable.
Yeah.
I think the real problem is you give guys like 85, 205. That's 20 fucking pounds, man. That's a lot of weight.
Yeah, I walk around 205 if I'm healthy. Like if I'm DC'd out.
Well, that's good. That's a good amount of weight to cut. Like, I bet when you get real lean, you probably lose like 6, 7, and you're only losing really cutting like, what, 10, 10, 13?
This camp, I didn't use a sauna. I didn't use a bath for this fight.
Nice.
Normally, like the last two I did, and I was underweight. And I would only cut a little bit as well. But this one, I woke up on weight.
Do you use an expert to help you, like a Lockhart or something?
I'm gonna, maybe for the fight week, use Lockhart next time, maybe. But like normally, I've done this for a long time, so I know my body. And I'm always accurate as well. I can feel like I'm about 98 kg, or 93 kgs today. I'm about 85 kgs right now.
And what about rehydration?
Yep, Lockhart method, the old one. There's a whole system like with the waxy maize, amino acids, eating pineapples with crackers and honey and whatnot. So I follow the list, and my coach.
Why pineapples with cracker and honey?
I don't know. It's on the list. It's a Lockhart one. It's so
it's like carbohydrates from the crackers and the honey.
Talking to the wrong guy. I wouldn't know all that kind of stuff. Like for me, that's the thing. I have guys like my coach Eugene who knows why, you know, and he'll just tell me do this, and I trust him.
Right.
Yeah. But I know it's a Lockhart method, and they've updated it because I talked to Ian, and he said that was the old one. I sent it to him, and he said they've updated it. So I said, okay. Next time, probably I'll use them for the fight week weight cut and then the rehydration. I'll try the new one.
The toughest you've ever cut? Like how heavy have you ever gotten?
Let me go back. This is probably early on in my career. No, actually, there was one in China where I fucked up. I was fucking around at the buffet or something, maybe like the fight week, you know. And then I think I cut 4 kgs in the sauna. It was easy on the last one, but before that, I was just like mentally sitting there like, shit, never again. I'm never doing this again. And I start to like visualize the fight, like I'm gonna make this guy pay. And I start to get delusional and delirious. But yeah, 4 kgs is not bad. I've heard worse. I've heard like 6 kgs in a sauna, and that's a lot on like someone who's not even that fat or that not that
what
much
is
body
that?
fat.
13, 14 pounds? How
I
many
keep using kgs. Damn it.
That's okay.
I know pounds.
What is how many pounds is that?
14.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
30.
a lot.
30
Yeah,
pounds?
it's like 2.2. So.
Oh God, that's right. I'm going the wrong way. I'm going the wrong way.
Here's the pineapple thing.
Oh, here it is. As you get closer to the actual weigh-ins, we cut back on the fat and start incorporating frozen fruits. Interesting. Something I use a lot is pineapple. The reason is dietary fiber will hold water. If I put a bunch of water into a bowl and lettuce is brown and wilted, the next day it will absorb the water via osmosis and be good lettuce again. Whoa, I didn't know that. When you guys are near the end of your weight cut, they are cutting back on how much water they take in so they don't have to worry about the body absorbing the water. That means we can give them the fruit, which is going to help them fuel the brain. Interesting.
Yeah, that.
Interesting. Huh. Now, what kind of shit do you eat? Like, are you on a very specific diet, or?
I see food and I eat it. I like food. I'm hungry. Dude,
Of course.
the best thing is like, for me, it's weird. When you're not allowed it, you want it more.
Of course.
Yeah, like fight week, when I get here, and I start to like crave just the good stuff, and I go on these Instagram pages like Tasty, and I just watch and I save it, and I write down what I'm gonna get when I get back home. And man, it's like food porn for real.
Yeah.
And you get hot just thinking about it. I'm like, oh my God. And then after the fight, once it's time to weigh in, I'm good, and I'm just like, all right, eat healthy, get it done. I don't like pig out. Like even on the one I got from Lockhart, it says do not eat pasta until after the fight. Because apparently that can slow you down. No pasta. In capital letters, do not
What
eat
about
pasta.
like maybe a quinoa pasta or lentil pasta? Does that count?
That'd be better. I think just
Sprouted
like regular
grains.
Yeah, I think just like maybe pastry pasta, that kind of stuff.
You ever
don't
have
want.
that Ezekiel pasta?
Not yet.
I like that shit.
One thing, do you have any elk?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
How long are you here for?
I got a spot till Thursday. Just kinda,
Do you have a place where you can cook?
Yes.
Oh, dude, I got you.
My
I
man.
got you. I got
just want to
freezers
try
back
it. Yeah,
there. Okay.
definitely.
The easiest thing I'll give you is I'll give you some elk sausage. That's the easiest to cook.
Easy.
And I'll give you some directions, and I'll give you elk steak and
Okay.
give you directions. Do you have access to like like some sort of a grill with a lid on it?
We can get it, yeah.
Temperature control grill.
Like a barbecue grill.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got one
just
at the
as
spot.
long as you just want to make sure and you got to get a digital thermometer. You want to make sure the meat stays somewhere under. Yeah, you don't want to keep it.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want to cook it past 120 degrees.
Easy.
And
I can follow instructions.
Okay, well,
I'm coachable.
I know you are. You must be. What you can't learn on your own.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
You know both. The thing about a guy like you that's interesting to me is like it's very obvious that you had very good technical training, but then you deviated and you figured out your own creative path. And something you said earlier, which I think is really important, and it's a good thing to hear for people who don't really understand martial arts, is what you do really is an art. I mean, you're expressing yourself. You know, there's something.
I've always been.
And for a person like me, who's a fan of that martial art, and I understand what you're doing, I watch it, and I'm appreciating it. It's like I'm watching ballet or a symphony. I'm watching art. I'm like, oh, look how he set up. There was one time where he trapped his wrist and cracked him with an elbow, and I just
You know what that is? Is that's like almost like NLP. Because some people are used to things coming at them at a certain speed. So what I did, like he had his guard up, and I was just like, just give me your hand. Boom! And I just hit him with it. So like he gave, you watch it, he kind of like just.
Well, he thought you were going at a slow speed.
Yeah,
and then he sped it up
NLP, because I'm used to, he's used to the fast stick coming at him, and I was like, just give me your hand.
Well, that's the change up in baseball.
Yeah.
They throw a slow pitch, and you're like, what is this? And you whiff it, and you're like, fuck, how did I miss that? Because you were expecting a ball to be so fast.
I've heard the term before, but I don't know
That's what
baseball.
change up is.
Okay, the change up.
So if a guy throws like a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, but all of a sudden he throws one that's like a fraction of that.
Yeah.
I don't know what fraction.
So they swing too
baseball,
quick.
right?
They swing too quick or something.
Yeah, they swing too quick. What would be a change up pitch? Like how much slower would it be?
20, 30 miles an hour slower. It's like 30%.
Yeah. So it fucks
slower.
your head up, man.
Yeah.
You're expecting that ball to come. Zip. You see him throw it. You're like, yeah. And then you see, fuck, it hasn't even gotten here yet.
Deception. That's what it is, bro.
It is
My
deception.
game is just deception.
Well, the
I like
question
to lie
mark
to them.
kick is the ultimate deception.
I got a few more. That's just the basic one I use, but I tried one on him. You might catch it. It was a change up from left kick to a front teep, but it just went right there.
Here it is, right there.
It slipped.
Here we see the highlight.
Boom.
Ooh, that was pretty. You know, another one that you see Wonder Boy likes to use is that front leg side kick, front leg roundhouse kick combination.
Yeah.
He comes in, touches you with a front leg side kick, and then swap.
Boom. Yeah.
Raymond Daniels, though, has the prettiest version of that.
Yeah.
Jumping side kick, spinning back kick to the face that he did in Glory. Like,
Yeah,
geez.
that was sick. Made that guy do the splits.
Woo!
Damn, that was
when
nice.
you see a guy who can do that in a kickboxing match at a very high level, that's when you realize, like, whoa, this guy, like, you can't give him any room.
Yeah, 100%.
Well,
he likes space.
Joseph Valtellini and Nicky Holtzkin, when they fought him, that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Constant pressure and leg kicks, chopping that leg, chopping that leg, chopping that leg.
Yeah.
You know, but what I like about your style is you basically do both of those things. You do the wild, crazy shit, but you also do technical Muay Thai.
This is what I mean about, I kept on saying about Uriah Hall being a button basher. Like, you know when you play Tekken and you just kind of like, you hope something cool happens? That's what he does. And I'm like, establish your basics first. Establish your foundation. Land your jab. He did it in this last fight, but like normally, establish something first, and then the cool shit comes afterwards. You can't just like, and he's had success with it. Knocked out Gegard with the spinning, spinning back kick, you know. But like, I think you'd have better success at landing those things if you establish your basics first. Land your jab, set the pace.
Well, he was landing a lot of jabs in that fight,
in
but
that last
Paulo
one, yeah.
Costa was just constant,
pressure.
relentless with his pressure.
Yeah, I think I called it 2 minutes before it happened. I told Ash, my friend of mine, was like, he's fading. He's gonna go soon. He's going soon. You can just see it when he starts to like, and maybe because I see it, that's what I look for in a guy, or they tell me like I'm ready to go. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll help you out. I just take him out. You can just find it. Like you look in their eyes, or you feel them.
Like when you see a guy who's starting to crack,
you feel them.
You feel them wilt.
Yeah, you feel. It's an energy. It's an energy. Like
right. They're
you
not
just
as
see
dangerous.
Them, yeah, and he's ready to go. Like example, my first fight. Shout out to Rob Wilkinson. I actually brought him in just to help me out, not for this camp, just for his wrestling pressure. Rob Wilkinson, he's a good guy. He's my first UFC fight. But when I was fighting him, it was in the second round after his last takedown attempt, and then I like stuffed his head, got my leg out, and I skipped back to the middle, and I saw him walk back like circle, and then and just the body language, I was like, oh, you're ready. And I throw my hands up like, what's up? And then pop, knee, boom, and I just kind of like just picked them apart slowly. I didn't rush it. Like I keep telling, I don't rush these knockouts. Like a lot of people are like, oh, he hurt Brad about 3 times, but you know, he didn't go for the finish. I'm like, I'm not trying to bum rush these dudes. I just pick them apart. They will fall eventually.
Well, not only that, here's something to consider for people that don't really totally understand what you're doing. You're doing everything correctly. You're not really getting hit much.
No.
You're doing everything correctly, and by doing everything correctly, you're kind of ensuring to continue your domination in that fight versus put yourself in danger, which some people like. Some people I just like to bite down on my mouthpiece and bang.
I love me a Justin Gaethje, Michael Johnson.
Yes!
But I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy because
Exactly.
I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. I just want to keep my wits about me.
Yeah.
Fight like Mayweather. Get in, get out. Make your money and fuck off. That's what I want to do.
You're fighting correctly.
Yeah.
In terms of like if you're trying to teach someone how to hit and not get hit, you're fighting correctly.
Facts.
But in order to push further, if you were trying to make it more exciting and engage more, you have to risk getting hit.
Yeah.
And that's not a wise thing to do.
I take risks. I like to take risks when I play with my distance. Like, okay, am I too close? Am I too far? And before I take those risks, I calculate. I know what he's going to do already. I'm like, I can bait them with something like, if I want them to jab, now get closer. And when he jabs, I slip and rip. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I take risks, but I calculate my risk. And sometimes I might do some wild shit like that in Minari roll.
Yeah.
I fucked up on that one because it was a little bit slippery, and I landed in training. I catch it all the time, but I didn't account for the sweat on his legs. And I got back up anyway, and I was like, come on. It was a good one, you know? But
it's a crazy thing to do. You're also very honest when things don't go your way.
Yeah.
When then things go wrong. You had a kickboxing fight. Was it in Glory?
Yeah. No, that was the one with in Brazil. With what's his name? Alex. Yeah.
Alex Pereira,
one, yeah,
right?
Pereira, yeah.
Yeah. Where you lost and you were talking about what it was like to get knocked out.
Yeah. For me, that's everyone's worst fear. So that for me was 2 firsts for the first time. My first back-to-back loss because that was just after the Glory fight. And my first knockout
loss. But the
loss.
Glory fight, although you lost, a lot of people thought you should have won the decision.
I won the fight. You know, if you look at him, I don't even base it on that, but like we both knew, like I hit you more than you hit me, you know?
Yeah.
And people were like, well, he had the pressure. He walked you down. And the commentary, being honest, was bullshit because, I mean, respect to a guy like Valtellini, but he can't fight like me. He can't understand my style. His fight, you look at his career, he had to take time off because of, you know, trauma, because that's how he fights. So he appreciates that kind of style, but what's his name? Wellness walked me down, but he really couldn't do shit. Leg kicks are supposed to slow you down. I didn't slow down. I was still dancing around him in the 5th round. I was slipping and stuff. I was fresh, you know. But yeah, that fight, I felt like I won that fight, but it's all right. So, you know, it wasn't meant to be. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to get that belt, and I'm okay with it, you know.
Well, the fight was the fight.
Exactly.
It really was just the judges that people have a dispute with. The actual fight was a successful fight for you in that you did land more shots than he did. But then losing the next fight
by KO.
But you talked about it online, like you were real open about it on Instagram, and
because that's the fear. Like every fighter, like if it was just me and a guy fighting and I lost, it's like, oh, whatever. But when you put it in front of millions of people, that's the fear. It's like, oh shit, I don't want to look like shit in front of all these people.
What did you get hit with?
I was southpaw, was a left hook from him, and before that, first round I teed him up. Second round, I rocked him, but then from that wellness fight, I let some bullshit get to me, just online. Like people in your life is not even online. People in your life is, oh man, you should have won that fight. Blah blah blah. Guess you shouldn't leave it in the judge's hands. They'll say some shit like that, and it just seeps into you. So when I heard him in that second round, I just went berserk. What people expect me to do, or what people in the UFC do, just like I started throwing bombs and just like I was only throwing right hands. I just like only right hands at him, and I watched that fight back. Now, I haven't watched it in a long time, but when I watched it back, I was like, why are you doing this? Because that's not me. That's not me staying true to myself. What I would have done if I was, being true to myself is just, all right, cool. Where's the shot? Boom, boom, boom. Just pick him apart.
Mix it up. Do what you always do.
He was hurt. He was out on his feet already. So it's a good story for him. Like he knocked me out at the third round after he got rocked in the second round. But I mean, it was good for him. But hey, if we fight again, because even after my UFC debut, he put like a contract up, like he's coming to the UFC as well. I'm like, all right, make your way up. I'll fuck him up, 100%.
He's a very good kickboxer too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no shame in losing to that guy.
He's beat me twice, and the first time as well was another weird. He's walking forward, and not landing shots, but I'm moving back and hitting him the whole time. And the judges gave it to him. So I was like, all right, credit to you. You got the fight, but I'll fight you again. So if he makes his way to the UFC, he can get it anytime.
Is he trying to fight MMA now, or is he?
I think he's had MMA fights. He's had MMA fights. But a lot of kickboxers, like I said, my boy Brad, even he realizes like MMA is where it's at. The UFC, they see the way best run company I've ever like come across. I fought all around the world, fought for glory, fought in China. No one runs the show like the UFC. Like everything has a place and a time, and it's just so clean, and you get your money quick. That's one thing I like about the UFC as well. Fuck,
it's a well-oiled machine.
Definitely,
I mean, they've been running it that way since 2002, and now the new organization is basically most of the old organization. Yeah, it's nice to work for him, man. I still enjoy it after all these years. Like,
when's your next one? Next one's in LA, right?
Yep. Next one is next TJ versus Cody. The rematch.
Sick fight. I can't wait. Oh fuck, that first fight.
Do you feel like after the last Robert Whittaker, Yoel Romero fight that your weight class is kind of in this weird state? I mean,
what do you mean?
Well, it's Whittaker won the fight, but a lot of people thought Romero might have gotten the nod because he knocked him down and hurt him, and then he hurt him again in the next round. A lot of people thought at the very least it was a draw because if you look at it on paper, Whittaker never really hurt Romero, but Romero did significantly hurt him. Whittaker twice.
Yeah.
And, he came off of knocking out Rockhold, but then again, he didn't miss weight, so that kind of puts it in
turmoil. That's for me. I don't really care as long as.
I think he's moving up.
I
think he said he's going to go to light heavyweight. Yeah, I think that's the most recent.
How tall
statement.
is he? How tall is he?
Like he's not that tall.
Yeah,
dude, that guy is built like a brick shithouse.
He looks like an action figure.
When he came in here to do a podcast, it was in between
too.
while I was in camp. And him and Joey Diaz translated and shit.
Yeah.
I was looking, I'm like, he's 230 pounds. He's fucking huge. How's he going to make 185?
That's how I felt when I first met Anthony Johnson. I was like, how the fuck?
How the fuck did he make 170?
Dude, I was like, literally, I saw him. He's just like a thick burger, like huge. And he hit me once, I think when we were sparring, only once, like a clean one. And I was like, I'm not getting hit by that again. And that was it.
So dangerous.
Yeah, 100%. It was good work. I enjoyed the work we got together, but definitely you don't want to get hit.
Is he a hard spar, or will he spar light with you?
No, because I was the guy that brought him for him to mess up. But it wasn't. I didn't let it happen.
Woo!
I was making sure, like, nah, stay away from that. There's one, he teeped me. And I went from one side of the cage to the other. He hit me. You know that teep he does? Like the side teep, he just pushes you?
Like an elliptical?
Yeah,
or
exactly. Yeah, that
oblique?
one. Yeah, oblique kick, yeah. And he just did. And I hit the fence on the other side. I was like, yep, he's a big boy. And I was probably maybe 90 kgs at the time, so that was about 200 pounds. But yeah, he's a motherfucker. You don't want to spar him.
Yeah, to get down to 205 is a bit of a struggle, which is just so crazy.
Don't get me wrong. He got his licks as well. It was back and forth. Yeah, 100%. But it was good work.
How did he make 170?
I have no idea.
I saw him in between fights at 170, and he was 230 pounds. I was like, What do you weigh?
You see him now? You see him on Instagram?
He's huge.
Yeah,
He's
I saw him like a
huge.
couple weeks ago. It's just like,
Well, he said if he's
going to
come back, he's going to come back as a heavyweight.
Perfect.
Dude.
And he already been a heavyweight. He's been fucking do the heavyweight.
He just couldn't answer the puzzle that was DC. DC's the one who really had him figured out.
Yeah.
DC just figured him out, man. DC just knew how to break him.
I think it's just the gas tank as well sometimes. Like he puts his foot on the gas too quick. And also learning how to not be conservative, but manage your gas tank.
Yeah.
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 A lot of people don't know.
He would just swing for the fucking bleachers. And
That's
most
what
of
I
the
mean.
time when he did that, he would just put guys in a coma. You know, and I just think at a certain point in time, you know.
He was on the tear. He was that motherfucker.
Oh, dude, he was that motherfucker for a long time. Man.
That one was the one he had with Glover Teixeira. That didn't look like much.
No.
The uppercut, it didn't look like much. And it was in the middle of a scramble. Like they were just working and then.
Dude, it was
boom,
amazing.
just
When he
turned
hit
him
him
off.
with that, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He had ridiculous punching power.
Yeah.
Like some of the most ridiculous punching power I've
Guys
ever
like
seen.
that, Mark Hunt, him, who's another one? Rampage had that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't understand. It's
Chuck
it's,
did
it's, it's
back in
something.
the day.
And Chuck, what I liked that he had it was because he was long as well. He wasn't really a thick guy, but I think it's his levers, his arms. He just knew how to whip that. Yeah. What are they fighting? He and Tito.
I don't know, man, but there's a video of Chuck working out. He's working out with Ray Sefo.
Yeah, I saw
Did you
that.
See that?
Yeah.
Everybody was like, oof.
Shit. Maybe I'll give him credit, benefit of the doubt, because I'm like, okay, maybe he hasn't hit pads in a while. Let's see, maybe 3 weeks from now,
When are
4
they
weeks
fighting?
from now. I have no idea. Young Jamie, pull that up.
I would think that you want
I
to
would
say
say
that, right? It feels good.
Yeah,
it
but
feels good.
yeah, maybe 4 weeks. Let's see if he keeps the training up. He might. It's like riding a bike. He didn't look like Chuck of old, obviously, because we have something to compare it to. But he, he's not going to be like that either way. But let's see if he can get better from what that was on Instagram.
But also, he's a 49-year-old guy, and he's probably warming up.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He probably hasn't
Hopefully,
hit
that
pads.
was just him. Just him, just throwing,
filling out,
getting loose, and then maybe 3 rounds in, he would
you still
start
spar?
really. No,
Oh, real?
no.
Just chill. Do you roll?
I roll, but I'm 50 years old. I can't
Fuck
get
off,
hit in
for
the
real.
head. Yeah, fuck off, for real.
Ah,
I can't get hit in the head
black
anymore.
don't crack.
I'm old enough to not be willing to get hit in the head anymore.
Yeah, same.
I stopped when I was probably 28, 29. When I first moved to LA, I still did some kickboxing. I went to Benny the Jet Center in Van Nuys. Remember Benny Urquidez? He's
I know Benny the Jet.
Original OG kickboxers.
Yeah.
And him and Blinky Rodriguez had the Jet Center in Van Nuys. And for me, there was 2 things that I wanted to do when I came to California. One, I wanted to go to Hard Times Billiards, because Hard Times in Bellflower, California pool. It's one of the legendary pool halls in the country.
Yeah.
And 2, I wanted to go to the Jet Center in Van Nuys. And I went there, dude, and it was all like gang members. And Blinky Rodriguez had like a program where he would let these gang members in and, he'd have them all take classes. So you'd be sparring with like hardcore gangbangers.
Yeah.
They had like one dude had this like really shitty tattoo on his back with his gang. I forget the name, and then it said "fuck the rest" on his back. And we're both putting in our mouthpieces. I'm like, Jesus, what am I doing? I grew up in the suburbs.
It kind of happens though. Gang activity kind of like just seeps its way into fight. They find their way into fight culture somehow.
Yeah.
It's always been a part
Blinky,
of it.
I believe Blinky Rodriguez lost his son to gang violence.
Oh, real?
Yeah.
So is that why he did that?
He had an open up program where he was letting
see.
kids into the gym and trying to help the community and help these kids. I apologize if I got that wrong, but I think I got that right. Please look that up. Blinky Rodriguez's son dies in gang violence. I'm pretty sure that's true. Blinky Rodriguez was a famous kickboxer too. He knocked out Jean-Yves Theriault when Jean-Yves Theriault was like the PKA champion, one of the most feared guys in the world.
It's that point karate, isn't it?
No. It was PKA karate with kickboxing, but it was above the waist, like Rick Rufus style.
Okay, yeah.
And Jean-Yves Theriault, is that true? That he did lose his son to gang violence? Yeah. Jean-Yves Theriault fought. See if you can find Blinky Rodriguez KO's Jean-Yves Theriault, and Theriault is T-H-E-R. I forget all the rest of the way to spell his name, but he was the man in kickboxing in like the 80s.
Yeah.
Because that
was before my time.
He had pretty decent kicks, nothing special, but ridiculous knockout power in his punches.
Was his hands like boxing?
Boxing, yeah.
Nice,
But
okay.
Blinky Rodriguez caught him with a left hook and starched him.
Shit.
And that was always like one of Blinky. Here it is right here. They're fighting. This is like one of Blinky's claims to fame.
Throwback.
Yeah, I mean, this is...
Which one's Blinky?
Blinky is the guy in the blue shorts.
The blue, all
and
right.
Jean-Yves Theriault is the tall Montreal guy.
Yeah.
He was an interesting guy, man. He was one of the first advocates of stair running, too. He was...
Okay.
Yeah, he was...
sprints.
Yeah, well, running hills and running stairs because he felt like for kicking power.
They're good for you, but fuck them.
Fuck them,
There's
right?
something about gravity. Oh, nice.
Well, Blinky was a karate guy. He had all kinds of crazy shit, spinning back fists and all that shit, but he had this, boom, there it is, son.
Yo.
Blinky had a ridiculous left
Stiff.
hook. Look at that.
The arms.
Watch
Boom.
that again. Boom. That's beautiful.
I like how I set that
One
up
more
as
time.
well.
Yeah.
From that low kick. Boom.
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 That's
Beautiful.
textbook. See, that's
Beautiful.
textbook.
Beautiful.
Nothing wrong with textbook.
So it was an honor just to be there in Blinky's gym.
You were right
and take
there
classes
on
with
his
him.
gym.
This is
Yeah.
way later. I came to LA in '93.
Yeah.
So it was '93 when I was
Follow
here.
the dream.
Yeah. Follow the dream.
From where?
I came here from Boston to New York to LA. So I started coming here around '93, and I think I joined the Jet Center, but they had got damaged from the earthquake in '93, and the fucking roof, when it would rain, it would just flood the whole gym. So they had to wind up moving.
Shit.
So, glory
That's
days.
life.
No word on that fight. It's booked for later this year.
Which fight?
The Ortiz Liddell.
Oh, later this year.
Yeah,
just
it
no
says
word
later
as terms
this year.
when.
I wonder how Tito looks as well. Maybe
Way
see
better.
him hitting pads.
He looks good. Look, Tito has been winning. You know,
Yeah.
he fought recently. He beat Chael Sonnen recently. Tito is.
Oh, that's right, in
still,
Bellator.
Yeah, he's still active.
He's active. Oh, yo.
Yeah, I saw Tito hit pads. He still looks good, man. He's still a beast. He's got a gang of back surgeries though.
Yeah.
Knee surgeries and back surgeries. Tito's. His whole back is all surgery, man. There's a crazy video of him. He's lying unconscious. They got him sedated, and the doctor has a hammer and a chisel and his neck
back.
and his neck.
Shit.
And he's going like this, clink, 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 putting some spacer in his neck, like fusing his neck together.
Shit. Fuck that. I'm not about that life.
Dude,
Hell no.
that headlock life is a different life.
That's wrestling, because he was a wrestler by
Dude,
trade.
all those wrestlers,
Yeah.
they all wind up with like some sort of catastrophic back injury. It's just a matter of how long can you hold out.
For me now, I'm trying to be preemptive, because for the longest time I kind of like just neglected all that stuff with like chiro, physio, whatnot. So now I'm like, if I want to fight at this level and be healthy, avoid injury, you got to look after yourself in that sense.
What kind of strength and conditioning work do you do?
Strength and conditioning. Suns is a guy that does my strength and conditioning work. And thing is, I know not much about these things. Like, even when he tells me to lift, like put some template, I never ask what the numbers are. Because if I know what the numbers are, I feel like I might get daunted. Like, oh shit, I can't lift this. And then I'll ask afterwards, like, oh, what was that deadlift? He'll be like, oh, that was 180. I was like, okay, cool, that's all right. But yeah, I do shit like deadlift, a little bit of bench, a lot of band work, a lot of plyometrics, like exploding. Yeah, learning how to just fire. Like when he says go, he's not just working the muscles, he wants to work the mind. So when it's time to explode, the mind just knows it's time to move. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like quick twitch.
And how many days a week do you do it?
2 times a week.
Two times a week.
Yeah.
And when you do it how do you schedule does someone schedule all of your workouts, or do you do it yourself? You have input? How does that work?
I have input, but my main coach, Eugene Behrman, he's the one that schedules my workouts.
So he says, today we're doing wrestling,
Yeah,
tomorrow
but we have a timetable. So for each camp, we'll adjust the timetable accordingly. So for example, when I go back now, I'm not going to do any VO2 max, no alactic capacity, all that kind of stuff, no camp stuff. I want to go...
Because it's after the fight.
After
so
the
it's
fight,
skill
yeah.
work after the fight?
Yeah, skill work, yeah. Just upgrade the software. But also because, I think I've done well this year. Three fights in 6 months. I'm like, you know what? Take my foot off the gas a little bit. I'm just going to chill.
How long will you chill for, you think?
Probably till September, maybe. But in that time, I want to go back to yoga, Bikram, because my flexibility is kind of, I felt it in this camp in the early. It took me a little bit longer to get my kicks going. And Eugene was teasing me, saying I'm getting old. And I was like, fuck that. I still have it, but like I just think I need to get my flexibility back to where it was.
When you do plyos and things along those lines, do you stretch heavily afterwards?
Afterwards, I should, and I try to, but sometimes I just neglect that. I forget.
Damn, that's kind of so important, because that's the time where you really have some opportunity for stretching, really advancing your range of motion.
Plyometrics, really.
Yeah, well, anytime explosive exercise, you're really tired, your muscles are completely heated up, Or, Bikram's great for that too, because you get a lot of exhaustion of the muscles, then you have that extreme heat, and everything's super pliable. Like, when I go to Bikram, I can still do a full split. But if I had to do like a full split right now, like, it'd be a little bit of a struggle.
I felt the way when after Bikram classes, I was always more loose.
Yeah,
like,
but
I could
that heat is something, man.
Yeah, someone can hack it though.
They need to hack it. Cut the shit. Of course you can hack it. If it was between live or die, never see your family again, or wait 10 more minutes in the sauna, shut the fuck up. You can hack it.
Like, even just for the first session I ever did in Bikram, I sat there. I didn't push myself as hard, but I just sat on the mat. If maybe that pose was a little bit too much, or if I felt some type of way. But listen, I'm African. I can handle it.
That ain't bad if you can't. Look, the whole thing about it is adaptation. If you overrun your body right away, you're not going to recover as well. You're not going to enjoy it as much. Yeah. If you can't get through a 90-minute Bikram class, but you can do 60 minutes, then you have to sit down for 10 and then jump back in for 10, then just do that.
Exactly.
Know your body.
They even tell you, just sit down.
Water.
Just sit down for the first fight and just feel the heat.
Just
try
sit down.
what you can, and if you can't do it, just sit down.
Dude, that shit is so good for you. I know Bikram's a crazy asshole. I know there's all this thing.
I've heard some stories.
I know he's crazy. They did a HBO, but here's the thing, man. Just because he's crazy doesn't mean it's effective. You can't throw out the baby with the bathwater. I know that dude's nuts. But also, here's the other thing about Bikram. Although he's a great yogi and his system is amazing, I don't even think he came up with that system. I think that system has existed for a long time. And
like it's from India or something.
Yeah. See, Google this, please. I think he lost a lawsuit based on him trying to copyright those sequences of yoga. And I think the problem is that the yoga, those moves, all those moves have existed for literally thousands of years.
But who's trying to claim them?
Well, he was trying to claim them in succession. So, like, say if you opened up the Style Bender yoga class and you used all Bikram's moves.
That's not a bad idea.
Not bad. I like
Style
it.
Bender.
Especially if you want to meet yoga girls.
Hey,
holla.
sit in the back of the class.
Holla.
Sorry.
Need some help. What he's essentially saying is that he came up with this idea to put them all in that particular order, which is a super effective order. Like his order of yoga poses is an amazing order.
Is it the same worldwide?
Yep. Okay. Everywhere you go. I've taken classes everywhere. It's all the same.
I thought it was just because I only went to one, so I thought it's the same thing for that.
If you do there's like vinyasa, there's flow classes, which are also very interesting.
Yeah.
But I've taken those too. But there's something really good about the 90-minute Bikram program. He just has it nailed.
Yeah.
He figured it out. But I don't even know if that was his idea. I think there was other people that did that. He sued people.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Shit.
He's gangster. He's so crazy. They had this. I mean, I don't even mean it in a good way. They had this HBO documentary where they're interviewing him, and he was talking about girls saying that, he banged them and all this different thing. He goes, listen to me. He goes, there are people that would pay $1 million for one drop of my sperm. Oh. $1 million. He's getting interviewed by HBO. And he's like, this, like as if there's a bunch of people like waiting, like an auction house filled with people. Like, who wants 3 ounces? Right here, $1 million. We have $1 million for one drop of sperm. Who's in?
Oh wait, how old is he? What does he even look like?
I'll take 3 drops.
What kind of specimen is he? Is he like an old type dude? Is he in shape?
He's not holding it together the best.
Okay.
Like if you and him, if you're both the same skin color and you didn't see your heads and you looked at your torsos, you would know who's who.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, let's put it that way. I mean, he's like a 70-year-old guy. I mean, how long can you hang in there?
Can he still make sperm?
One drop of my sperm, $1 million.
It'd be like powder.
$1 million. Yeah, he's there. He is. Holla at your boy. Okay. Still looking jacked. Is that him? Let me see. Go large on that picture. Not bad. Probably eating a few too many carbs.
Yeah.
Needs to get some squats or some hill runs in. But when it comes to yoga, he's flexible as fuck and knows how to do all that shit.
Doesn't look 70.
Well, you know what, man? Look, when let's go back to that picture again real quick. There he does. Go back to that picture again real quick in his underwear. The one on the art, yeah. Oh, the one right above that, yeah. Listen, man. Let me just be real.
Gravity's
as fuck.
a thing. Gravity's a thing.
And let's be real as fuck. If you walk around wearing underwear like that in a yoga class, you're there to fuck. That guy's there to fuck. He's there to fuck. And if you leave a girl alone with him, he's gonna touch her. He's gonna pull that Indian dick out. And he's gonna send it home. He's gonna say what's an Indian dick as opposed to like a
just bring it out with
French
a flute.
dick. Comes out like a cobra. Look at that guy. I mean, he's wearing little tiny skivvies.
My man's out here.
And if you're a dude and
that's
you
me
commit,
at 70.
you can't be like an amateur yoga
Holy
guy.
shit.
Wow, look at that girl. He's
That's
stepping
from
on
the
her
Kama
hips.
Sutra.
Yeah.
Might be.
Yeah. Okay. Like, you can't have underwear like that on and not be good at yoga. Like, if you're like a beginner and you fall down every time you try to do eagle pose, they'll talk to you. Hey, man, why don't you put some more clothes on? But if he walks in there with his man
earns the right
bun,
to flex.
yeah, he's got the right to flex, man. You know what I mean? I mean, he's fucking. It's like, I don't know. If you were a bowler, you had a bowling glove covered with rhinestones. Like, you better be
Michael
good.
Jackson glove style
Right.
thing. Yeah. Oh, that's the thing. Someone should do it.
Someone should do it, right?
Bowling glove with rhinestones on it.
What else do you do? Do you ever do gymnastics?
Gymnastics. No, I dance.
What kind of dance? You said that earlier. I forgot to go back to that.
So I started off with popping as a kid. Now I'm crump. I crump dance. That's like, yeah.
What's a crump dance?
Crump dance is actually originated in LA. It's
really?
an express, yeah, South Central LA. Like Tie Dyes and Big Mijo started it off. But I remember I watched this movie as a kid called Rise, and that's kind of what introduced it to the world. Kind of like the way Ong Bak did with Muay Thai, made it more mainstream. Rise, it's spelled R-I.
This is it right here?
This is popping. This is with Poppin' Pete. Look up a guy called Tie Dyes, T-I-H-T.
This guy's good. Look at him go. Hold on a
Pete's
second.
the shit.
Hold on, let that guy go.
So this guy is from the Electric Boogaloos. So this is how I started off
Look at him go.
back in the day.
What's with the towel though? Seriously, are your hands that sweaty?
He'll probably use it with a move or something. Oh yeah,
guess.
he's a man.
It's so strange, like that people went thousands of years without these styles, and then when electronic music came along, people went, "Oh, the
Out of
sound's
nowhere.
different. Let's move different."
Yeah, but for me, I had this metamorphosis last year, like around my birthday, and then for whatever reason, I just went back to dance because I felt like I had this dance. You know how people get writer's block? Mm-hmm. I had dancer's block for like maybe 6 years or 5 years. I just couldn't create. I could dance, I could flow, but I couldn't create anything.
Do you know Lomachenko studied 4 years of Ukrainian dance?
I heard.
Yeah, classical Ukrainian dance.
One thing I learned is muscle memory. I know dancers who have to do shows and they have to learn like 20 different sequences, and that's for the whole show, like 20 different, and each sequence might be like anywhere from 1 minute to 3 minutes, and they have to do it like that. So when I started dancing again, when I went back to training, drilling, I can retain that information so much better. Like, it's muscle memory.
Right.
So I don't even have to think about certain moves when I do it. It just, boom. Because, I remember this. It's easy. And the muscle just does like, how do you do that? I wasn't thinking. So dancing really translates into muscle memory like that in an effortless way. Like, dancers, I think, have the best muscle memory, or maybe one of the best in the world.
Well, it makes sense that you're learning to use your body in a choreographed way, almost like a kata. You know, like
katas
I used to
back in
think
the day.
katas were stupid when I was a kid. I used to think, I really did. I used to think it was dumb.
I thought they were cool.
Well, I
when I was a
think they
kid.
look cool when someone's doing it, but I hate learning them. I felt like I only learned them to get the next belt, but then once I learned them, I forgot them totally. But now that I think back, I realize like that was a mistake on my part, because what that was I thought I knew better, which is hilarious. I thought I knew better than people who learned martial arts for thousands of years. Yeah. And it's not that kata makes you a better fighter, but it makes you have better control of your body.
Yeah.
And the thing about like holding a side kick up in the air, there's a lot of people that just can't do that.
I can't. I've seen like Dafford, he's the guy taught me Taekwondo, like literally his dexterity in his legs, he'll on one leg, pop, 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 while moving forward, and he'll do it the other leg, like all the way down, all the way back up, southpaw, orthodox.
I think there's a balance. And I think the balance is between that and maybe
the Thai style.
The Thai style.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find. And sometimes you can go one side too much, but it's just you have to be objective enough to know, okay, this is what I need.
Yeah.
This is how, you know, and you feel your body. You kind of, and for each fight as well, you know what you want to use.
Right.
Like with him, I was gonna throw some spinning shit at some point, but I did.
Nick Diaz has changed what spinning shit is by saying that. We're throwing spinning shit now.
I met him. What's his name? I was it's after I saw Dana and them, so I was walking around with Tony. Shout out to Tony Angelov, and then I see Jay Silva, who's the guy who used to fight. He's a thick boy. He fights, I think, out of Ruka, and he just I kind of recognized, hey, what's up? And then he got me into the club, and then Nick Diaz showed. I said, hey, what's up? How are you? And I just shook his hand, and that was it. And he's legend in the game,
guy.
cool guy.
He is a legend.
He's still fighting.
Well, he's doing whatever the fuck Nick Diaz wants to do right now.
I just
if
see
he
him in
decides to
Vegas
fight,
all the time.
I think he's only going to fight for I think this is. I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Yeah.
I think the lack of the UFC talking Nick Diaz into a fight. I know he's crazy, and he knows he's crazy too. That is a criminal underuse of a valued asset. I think if you wanted to have a giant pay-per-view now.
He's a big star.
Fuck, he's a huge star. So is his brother.
Yeah.
But they haven't fought in forever.
Yeah.
Like, Nate hasn't fought since he lost to Conor in the
I think
very
he's only coming back
close
for the
rematch.
big money fight.
Well, probably. He made a ton of money, and he doesn't live a crazy lifestyle. And I believe Nate just got a kid.
Real?
Yeah, I think.
Nice.
I think I read that on Google.
Yeah.
See if that's true. Nate Diaz just had a child. Either way, congratulations.
Yeah,
Nate.
salute.
Either congratulations you had a kid, or congratulations that you didn't. I love that dude, though. I love Nate, and I love
the
Nick,
style,
too.
the way they fought.
They're fun.
I remember that Paul Daly fight. I watched it live, bro.
Yeah, man.
I think I sat down for that fight.
You were there live?
No. I was on the
Watched it
couch,
live on
yeah,
TV?
but I was standing
Damn.
up on the couch.
That was a crazy fight.
Shit.
He got clipped, too. He's
Yeah.
one of the rare people that's got clipped by Paul Daly and survived.
Yeah, come back and then knocked him out. See the way Paul fell back as well?
Damn.
The stanky leg?
It's almost like his legs just gave out. Like he's
Yeah.
exhausted.
Yeah, that's what it is. Exhaustion. I keep saying it's easier to knock someone out when they're tired.
Yeah.
Like that fight. What's it? Brad had good cardio. He was able to take it, and I was finding it. There was one I hit him with a body shot, I think a body kick, and yeah, he went for a takedown straight away. I pushed him off, framed him, got him against the fence or something. But yeah, it's easy to get. Like some of these guys, you can see he never gave me that sign like I'm ready to go. Like when they're ready to go, like I want out.
One of the most overwhelming performances of Nick's career was against Frank Shamrock.
Oh, dude.
That was when I was like, whoa.
Just body shot. He put his head on his chest and just ba.
It was
that
also
pace.
talking shit to him, and Frank was like,
Yeah.
really? You're talking shit to
Yeah,
me?
I saw that interview. He was like,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. It's like, nah, but honestly, like that pace, even like my first fight, it's sort of Diaz-esque in a way where it's like when I knew he was ready to go, I just, all right, put a steady pace. Just put your foot on the gas a little bit, but not gas it out.
Right.
Just pop, find the shot.
Right.
There's no need to it's wasted energy.
Well,
you've
got a wise approach to your to just your overall MMA game, but in particular to your striking game. Is that you're one of those guys that's showing people that you can be very exciting, but take minimal. There's a couple moments in that fight where Brad was charging at you, where you're like, hup, here we go, and we're out the other side.
Yeah, 100%.
To me, that is
take the center. People don't take the center, man.
Almost as exciting as watching someone get knocked down. I like watching someone figure out that like the right hand's coming, the left hand's coming behind it. I'm not there. Here I
would have been
am.
a clean sweep. It would have been a clean sweep if one judge didn't give one round to him. But I don't know which round he gave because I thought I had all 5 rounds after watching it. So it was like
judging, you can't even
50-45, 50-45, and then 49-46. And I was like, damn, that would have been cool if it was just like a 50-45 clean sweep.
Well, the most important thing was not a judge's interpretation of it. It was the actual performance.
Yeah, and people enjoyed it. Some people were like, people they get caught up in knockouts a lot. Like, oh, he didn't finish Brad though. But a lot of people, the response was, I'd rather see that than just a quick finish because he worked the guy. He didn't get gassed. He didn't, I didn't dip. Maybe the third round I might have dipped a little bit, but I didn't look it. I had my poker face on. I was fine. I felt fresh. And I even said after my last fight before that, like I was based on a 3-round camp. The one I fought in Arizona, it was based on a 3-round camp. And I looked in the camera, I was like, I can go 5 rounds. I told Eugene, my coach, I was like, man, I feel like I can go another 2 rounds easily. And this camp was based around 5 rounds. So after this fight, honestly, I had the reserve ready. I was like maybe 3 rounds I could have gone if I needed to. But
do you ever anticipate a time where people would have more than 5 rounds at an MMA fight? Most of the
probably
time,
not anymore.
Most of the time, it's totally unnecessary.
Yeah,
but sometimes
I thought it was too long. I was like, I'm gonna get this guy in like 3 rounds. I thought so. I felt so. I was like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me bigging up myself, my own ego. But yeah, I just felt like I would take him in 2 or 3 rounds, but 5 rounds, and I still look good doing it. So I was happy with it.
Now, when you see a guy like Paulo Costa who has like this, he's not totally hittable, where like everything you throw, you're gonna hit him, but he's much more aggressive, much more in your face.
You see these?
What? Short arms?
Bro, I stood next to him. He iced me. He's trying to act like he doesn't know who I am, and I saw interviews like, oh, I do not know that guy. It was like, dude, you know who the fuck I am now. And I said after my first fight, because these guys want to pretend, and I don't know where it comes from. Maybe because of years of not getting noticed. So I'm like, don't try and act like, because a lot of guys, they'll creep on my Instagram and then like see me in real life and act all high and mighty. And I'm a nice guy. I like to be friendly.
Of course.
I like to hug people, say what's up. At least just nod like, hey, what's up? I know who you are. You know who I am. But some people flex too much. So for him, yeah, he knows who I am. And his manager, what's his name? The fucking gremlin. I don't know. No, he looks like fucking Ariel. Was it Ariel? He looks like
Waleed Ismail.
You know Undertaker's guy.
Do you know who he is? Waleed is a mixed martial arts legend.
He fights.
Dude, he fought in UFC 12.
Really?
Yeah, he fought Takahashi. Is that who he fought? Maybe it was 13. UFC 12 or 13. Dude, he choked out Royce Gracie in a jiu-jitsu match in Rio when Royce Gracie had just won all the UFCs and he was a fucking man.
And he fought him in Rio
Waleed
jiu-jitsu.
Ismail, who was a Carlson Gracie black belt. Watch this. He got a hold of Royce, and this was in Brazil in a giant fucking audience. It was in a soccer stadium, I think. It was a big-ass audience, and
that's crazy.
They wound up going to the ground, scoot ahead, and Waleed got him in a clock choke. And I remember this because at the time, I was like, maybe a blue belt, and I had tapped a guy with a clock choke, and I was like, clock chokes are that shit.
Yeah.
And he,
I remember those with the gi.
Clock chokes with a gi.
I tried it a little bit. I can do it when it's not sweaty, but with my arms because I got long arms, so I can kind of get it a little bit if I tweak it right. And
Waleed had that constant, Waleed, they used to call him. He had that constant pressure, Carlson Gracie top game, crushing, where you're going to shit out bone fragments after you roll with them.
Yeah.
That was their style, man. Like, scoot ahead a little bit, and you see Waleed gets that clock choke. So
you can tell he's the guy that's like talking for
right
Paul.
Right here. He got it here.
Yo.
And he wound up putting Royce to sleep. Royce didn't even tap.
Yo, he's out.
Went out like a warrior. Yep. Look at that. Look at that fucking pressure. Look at everybody running onto the mat. You
gotta let it go. Fuck, that was a little bit too long.
Well, he didn't know. I mean, he was on the outside.
No, but the referee should have known. I saw it was out.
Yeah.
It was limp.
No, you're right.
Shit.
But this was back. See, there's Carlson back then. This was when there was like a bit of a rivalry between Carlson Gracie and
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, I mean Hickson and Royce and Hoyler, and there was a bit of a rivalry.
He was out.
He was a beast, man. So
is he just managing now? He's managing now.
He's taking care of fighters and stuff like that, but he's a real legend.
Yeah.
Waleed's a beast.
Oh, his spec.
Yeah.
But like he's the for real. He's the guy that I think talks for Paula a lot because I respect him trying to learn English as well. That's one of the reasons I was like, I really want Uriah Hall to win because he was talking all this shit.
Right.
And if he wins, I want to see him, and I want the build up for that fight will be fun because I will fuck him up.
You felt like there was holes in Uriah's game, like you were saying, it was like
in his game as well, in Paul's game as well. There's holes in his game. But
what did you see in Paulo? Can you say?
He gets hit easily, and you don't want. You know how Uriah was tapping him with the jab. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want it to. If I was behind those jabs, it'd be different setups. It'd be a different setup. I can come up with few other pathways after that jab. Like Uriah was hitting the jab, but that's it. Hit the jab, and his chin's up. He'll hit the jab, and what do you do after the jab? After you land it 7 times, you got to do something else with it. You can't just keep jabbing him. If you want to, you can.
It seemed like Costa had extreme confidence in his ability to knock out Uriah.
He didn't respect his jab. He will respect my jab. Like, look at my knuckle. So this is my moose knuckle. This is my regular knuckle. I'll show the
moose
camera.
Knuckle.
So this one's a little. That's from.
Son.
No, that's from what's his name? It got a little bit more swollen because of Brad Tavares. Mm-hmm. This is my regular knuckle, and like I was jabbing him at first.
Is that swollen right now from the fight?
A little bit, but normally it's just good.
That's a
forever.
rock, son. Yeah. That's like a triple knuckle. That ain't even a double knuckle. That's a triple knuckle.
It's a moose knuckle.
Ouch, chihuahua.
Yeah, but with Brad in the beginning, my jab, he was slipping it. And I was like, all right. And then you just said drop it down. And at one point, he tried to counter it like Tyrone Spong, slip the jab and counter. But I recognized it. I was like, okay, cool. Drop it down. And I hit him with, I think I went down to the legs, and I took away attention from the top. Then I was able to go back to the jab, and I busted him up with the jab.
Now, when you train in, do you spend time to work on traditional moves like wheel kicks and side kicks and all that shit that you throw occasionally? Yeah. Or do you throw them into your overall pad work game? Or how do you?
The pad work, Eugene, he has his own system, and he knows everyone's different. So he treats every fighter as an individual. You know what I mean? So he knows what he can do on the pads and what I like to pull. And if I have an idea like, oh, try this out, he's open. He's not like, he's a very open man. He doesn't understand, he doesn't try and limit you from what you can do or what you can create. So all the spinning stuff, all the creativity, the things that I kind of bring myself, I try just 2 a.m. just walking around my house, shadowboxing sometimes, just in my own free time. I just think about certain things like, how can I do this different? Even someone like Chad Mendes, there's something he does like he fakes the shot and uppercut. I like that. We're completely different body types, but I like that, and I have my own setups for that, just because I feel like it's a good move. But with different body types, and he has his own setup. So I like to create on my own, and then if I have any ideas or anything that I feel like can work well with the pads or with our flow, I'll let him know, and he's open to it.
Well, you're one of these guys that's coming up right now that's in this new wave of MMA fighters that is it seems to me that there's like an incremental increase in the skill level. There's always all-time greats like Cain Velasquez and, fill in the blank. There's like Anderson Silva. There's these guys that burst out and they stand out as extreme performers.
Yeah.
But there seems to me like right now to be a new Zabit Sharapov, that guy. There's a few of these guys that are coming up where you watch them, you go, whoa, there's some next level. You recognize, like a guy like me who's seen it for so many years, I go, okay, there's some next level shit going on right now.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like we were talking about Lomachenko. Like Lomachenko's footwork and movement, this is next level shit. I've seen a lot. I mean, I'm sure there's been some all-time greats. When you go to guys like Pernell Whitaker and guys like Floyd Mayweather, artistic geniuses. But there's something that Lomachenko's doing that they're not doing.
Yeah,
right.
100%. Like even some things, I watch his footwork. I watch the way he looks. Like, and you see my fight as well. I like to look at guys. I don't just like close my eyes and throw in hope. I don't throw in hope. I aim and fire. That's one of my quotes. I say that. But he does the same thing.
Yeah.
He likes to look, and he's aware of where he is.
He's
he
data
knows.
crunching.
Yeah, 100%. He's chunking. He's chunking all that information.
He's like
physically, muscle memory. Like I say, he's a dancer. He learned 4 years of ballet. All that stuff, rhythm, timing, offbeat, onbeat. It all translates well into fighting, like easily.
Yeah, it really does. And it's so fascinating to me. And watching all these like new versions of different styles. Like Khabib, in my opinion, is a new version of the ground and pound style. Like I watch his ground and pound. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ! Like he's such a when he fought Michael Johnson, there's no Justin Gaethje fight there, son. This is a mauling.
100%.
This is a goddamn mauling. You're getting mauled by some crazy alien from another planet.
I like the way he traps the hands, and I had one on Brad as well a little bit, but I think he recognized it and he tried to go away. This is when I had his back for a brief moment in that fight, probably about a good 30 seconds, and I trapped his hand. I learned that from BJJ Scout. It was on the Ben Askren video, but Brad wouldn't let me have his right hand. But I got it though, because I got these fucking monkey fingers. Like I can grip really well. So I hold it, and I peppered him a little bit, and then that's when I kind of got to the fence, and something happened. Got a Kimura, but I pick from everyone. Khabib, there's a way he traps the hands. We call it the Khabib. Even when I get to my training partner, I start talking like you will never get this. I want this title shot. I just kind of like mimic guys like that, just because they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
And if I can get it and make it work for me, like Bruce Lee, make it my own.
I'm really intrigued. I mean, I was really bummed out that Max Holloway had to pull out of that fight.
Shit.
That
I'm glad
me out.
Michael Bisping called him out on that, though, man, because I think most other people would have just kind of like, oh, well, good luck. But he called him out on TV like, bro, you look like you just woke up. And you can tell.
Yeah, he recognized something.
When I watched the interview, because I heard about it before I watched the interview, and I was like, oh, obviously. I didn't look at him. He's just like, I feel great, blah, blah, blah,
Something's
blah.
wrong.
Yeah, facts, yeah. And he would have fought. He would have rehydrated and fought, maybe not to the best of his ability, but...
Well, he might have got knocked out. I mean, he might have got hit with a punch and got knocked out.
Ortega's no joke.
No joke.
And you don't want to come up against a guy like that and be slack. He should go to lightweight.
Well, Ortega's fascinating to me because the way he locks up submissions is so next level.
Long range. I like his chokes.
Not just that. The technique is so sharp, man. When he dives on shit. When he got Cub in that, he got him in a Darce at the end of the first round. I was like, what the fuck, man? That is tight. But there was something about the finality to it. There was like, this is not a question of whether or not he's going to finish it. Well, it was not that. It was the solidity of the technique. It was like when he locked it in, there was no doubt this fight was over. And then the bell rang. Yeah. And then I was like, whoa.
Some guys have that.
This wasn't slippery. Yeah. This wasn't like maybe he's going to get out. You know, a guy gets a guillotine. He's like, oh, looks like he's getting out. He's going to get out. This wasn't that. This was death.
Okay.
And then he got him with that guillotine. He jumped on his guard. He jumped and got him in a guillotine.
Looks beautiful. That kind of stuff. Like nasty. Ortega, I like the way he looks. I look at guys like that because similar body types. And lately, I've been catching that. You see, in the fifth round, give me another maybe 7 seconds. I would have squeezed that. But it rang on the belt. But every time someone goes for certain things, I can snatch the neck. But thing is, I don't have that the way Ortega has, where he knows, like, okay, it's done. Like, for me, I'm like, I think it's tight. Let me try.
Well, you know how it is, right? If you tried to throw a jab hook with one hand and then throw it with the other hand, it just doesn't feel right with the other hand.
Yeah, I can. I'm bistantral.
I bet you are.
I go both ways.
But you know, some people from my own personal experience, my left hand, I know how to do it with my left side, but my right side, it feels like awkward.
Yeah.
Well, there's a squeeze that you develop. Certain guys just get like this Marcelo Garcia style squeeze.
Yeah. That's what he has.
Ortega's got it.
I want that. That's the thing.
You can get it.
No, I've got this.
Sure.
I can catch the neck, but thing is, when I catch it, I'm not dead set sure. Like, okay, it's over now. Like, I know if you don't tap, you're going to sleep.
But if you just tapped a certain amount of black belts with that, you would have that feeling.
Yeah,
right?
he does. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a beast, man. He's a beast. He's so fucking explosive on the ground. He throws up triangles and arm bars.
I like his style. I like his creativity as well.
Yeah.
He thinks outside the box.
Well, knocking out Frankie was giant, and hitting him with an uppercut like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
Out of nowhere.
It's just Frankie can take it too.
I saw Frankie fighting Atlantic City after that. Just like a few weeks after.
Yeah, like 4 weeks after I think it was. He fought
okay.
Cub Swanson. That's a dangerous fight to take after getting knocked out by Ortega.
Fuck.
What do you think about that? About guys doing that, like getting stopped?
I agree. Nah, same. Take time off. After that knockout in Brazil, I fought again in July.
Were you totally unconscious in that fight?
Yeah, I remember. Okay, so I remember this is what happened. I woke up. I was like, oh shit. Okay, let me try and get up. Fuck, my arms just felt like noodles. I was like, all right, whatever. And then this fucking little shithead, like a baby, came over and just like, I think he either yelled in my face or whatever, and I was like, whatever. And then, because it's Brazil, they go crazy, like, holy shit, he knocked this guy out.
So where was the kid? Like near you by the cage, by the ring?
He came in the ring, like, and then the referee
the ring?
Like the referee had to like, yo, everyone, get order again. There was chaos.
And this is while they were doing the count?
Yeah. And then I was trying to get up. And then like, nah. And I think it was just over after that. Then I had, okay, cool, good fight. Gave him a, fist pound. And then the kid again came over next to me and just laid on the ground, just like, and I thought to myself.
To mock you?
Yeah, I was just stomp his face, but I was like, nah.
How old was the kid?
7. I don't give a fuck.
Oh.
If you can crawl, we can brawl. Shout out to Michael Blackson.
Shit, that's funny. If you can crawl, we can brawl. That is fucking hilarious.
And then I remember like
ruthless.
No, but then it was a dick move at the time.
Well, 7.
Yeah,
it's probably his kid, right? Was that his kid?
I don't know. He could have got it either way. If your dad don't spank you, I'll spank you.
That's hilarious.
But then I remember like flashes as well, walking out with Eugene to the stadium. Then we walked outside. We just sat there, and I was like, breathe. I was like, what happened? And he just told me what happened. I was like, all right, okay. And then I remember back in the hotel chilling, and then, yeah, I felt like, fuck, I'm okay. This is the worst case scenario. I'm okay. And that was my first only ever knockout loss, knock on wood. And I was just like, fine, that's it.
And do you think you learned something in that fight about not giving in to your emotions? And
I just don't let people, you're the man. You ain't shit. Now I don't give a fuck. Like, I only give a fuck about those who I care about. Like, someone like Ash or Eugene, those my close people, if they say something about me that, hurts me, then I'll give a fuck. But if it's someone like, oh, bro, you're the man, this, that, but you gotta blah, 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 or be more this. I'm like, cool. I just smile and wave because I don't give a fuck what they think. They're no one to me. You know, understand? Yeah. So, yeah, after that fight, I shouldn't have given into people's opinions of myself. I should have stayed true to me and just fucked them up in the second round. I would have knocked them out if I just didn't, literally just right hands. Why am I only throwing right hands?
So you think that's like a critical lesson in your career?
Facts. I'm glad it happened. Like, in the moment, hindsight, it's like, oh, fuck. Sucks, and I hate losing. I fucking hate losing. One thing, I went 40-0 before I had my first loss, and that was to Simon Marcus, Bati boy Simon Marcus. I beat him in that fight as well. But another judge, all 3 rounds.
He's a beast.
I beat him all 3 rounds, and then
I believe
extra
you,
round.
But that's a big fight to win, right?
Extra round. They made it an extra round, and the extra round I still beat him, but then they gave it to him because he was a superstar at the time, and I realized, oh, shit, I lost. Okay. I lived my life, and that was it. But I took winning for granted for so long in kickboxing because I was always expecting to win. And after that, after a fight, okay, what's next? Cool. I watched the fight maybe twice, maybe even once. Sometimes I won't watch the fight, and then that's it. What's next? But this weekend, ever since I got to the UFC, or just before, every single fight, after I win, because my brain tries to go to that place where it's like, okay, what's next? But I'm like, wait, stop. Nigga, you just main evented in Vegas, your first fight. smoke this dude all 5 rounds, and you're on top of the world right now. Take this in. That's why I'll sit down, look at the T-Mobile Arena, and just like, I might have been a little irie as well, just by myself in my room. And then just get, like, you get objective. And I sit down, I just like let it sink in, like, yo, you're out here, you're doing the damn thing, and really embrace it. Yeah. And eventually, when I go back home and I let things settle down and I move back into the flow of things, I'll start to get over it. But one thing I forget, and smell the roses. Just stop sometimes and smell the roses. And it's not cocky. It's just appreciating what you've done, because you've put a lot of work into this, you know?
Yeah. That's a good attitude, man. I mean, I think what you're doing in terms of your ability to reflect on yourself and to be real objective about your abilities and where you want to go.
Your podcast, the one thing you said when I was, because I don't have any big brothers, so I don't really have anyone sunning me apart from Eugene, and like. But sometimes when I first started listening, you used to tell, it's like, don't be a bitch. You had this like big rant one time. If you want to do this and do that, follow your dreams, and like, you know, don't
conquer your inner bitch.
Yeah, conquer your inner bitch. Yeah,
everybody has an inner bitch.
I know. Tell me about it.
There's no way around it. If you're a human,
I'm a bitch in the streets, bro.
You got a little voice in there.
And I'm like, like it. Part of that was part of the fuel that helped me amongst a lot of other things. I take inspiration from everything to help me like get out of that. I remember the day, September 4th, 2013. I was just like, yep, I'm out. And I'll never look back. I never worked a day in my life again.
Beautiful.
Never again. I couldn't do it.
There's one time. You don't have to anymore. You're working, but you're working at something you have a passion towards. You're still working. It doesn't feel like work.
It doesn't feel like work. That's what I mean. Like, I don't care if you work in the office. That's your thing. And if you don't feel like you're working and you have a passion for what you're doing, just do that.
Right.
But then, like I said, some guys who are fighting and they just do it because it gets, like Brendan Schaub. He was doing it because he's great at it. Right. Pays the bills. But now look at him, comedian, podcast.
He recognized it though. He's a wise guy in that he recognized there was this thing that he just did. You go back to like his fight with Crow Cop or some of his earlier fights, he had a different attitude about fighting, and then he realized he didn't have it anymore, but he was still getting paid well, so he didn't know how to jump out.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So if you're not enjoying it, doesn't matter what it is, just opt out. And he did. You helped him though. Yo, I listened to that. I was cringing the whole time.
I had
to.
You
had to. Yeah, that's what.
Look, I love that guy. He's like a brother to me.
I tell my homies all the time.
He wasn't all there.
Yeah.
In terms of like, he wasn't all in.
Facts.
Yeah.
I tell my homies all the time, because a lot of people like, they don't know how to handle like, not the new me, but the new lifestyle around me. Yeah. It's weird. People they become like groupies in a way.
Well, it's spooky. It's spooky because you
still me.
But you broke through the membrane into the neighboring dimension. You know, like, oh shit, like Stylebender's on TV, and he's winning on TV. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, of course.
But to people that know you and then all of a sudden see you on TV, that's a mind fuck, man. But I remember seeing my first friends get on TV when I was a comedian. And watch them on TV going, whoa, it weirded me out. I know that guy and I see him on TV.
Facts. Now, but for me, so the ones that are around me now, they're the ones that can check me. Like if I fuck up, they can handle it. And they can check me. Like if I fuck up, like, 'cause I'm not perfect. I mean, everyone fucks up.
There's no such thing.
Yeah, so it's like if I do something and I'm like I'm in the wrong, they'll tell me like, hey, you need to pull your head in. You know what I mean? So you need people like that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad I have people like that now.
Well, having people like that, and also having people like Dan Hooker in your camp, having people like all the other training partners that you were talking about, having great coaches, all those things have to be together. It's like you have to have people that are honest, that are assessing you. You have to have a good trainer who's looking at you, who knows you. It's like, you're a little off today, you're a little slow today, or today we're going to ramp it up. I think you're hitting the next level. We're going to add in some more different things. Yeah. Having someone who's
being able to adjust and adapt to each.
Man.
Everyone's different individually, even with fighting the style. So that's one thing I love about our staff at City Kickboxing, is because they can look at someone and be like, okay, cool, he needs to do this. He needs to work on this better. And it's beautiful. I honestly, like 20, 30 years from now, I keep telling my teammates that they're going to talk about us the way we talk about them, but we don't realize it.
Like Gym, like when people talk about Ernesto Hu's gym.
100%, Majiro. I've met him, Manat, Andre Manat as well in China. He's a kickboxing legend as well. But yeah, one day I'll go out there and get some work done, probably at the end of the year.
Yeah, man. I mean, mix it up.
Yeah,
travel
I like going
around.
I love New Zealand, don't get me wrong. When I see the Sky Tower, when I hit Auckland, I get excited like a little dog when it sees the park, you know what I mean? I love being home, but it's good to get out there, get some work, and without ego. Because one thing I realize now is if I go to a different gym, it'll be different now, because guys are like, oh, he's that guy.
Right.
Sparring.
He might try to hurt you.
Exactly. And, bro, we can play. We can play, but I don't get paid for that. That's the thing.
You're also in one of the most beautiful countries that's ever existed. There's something about New Zealand, man. I've never been personally, but there's a reason why they filmed The Hobbit there. Because like you look at some of that shit and it looks magical.
Yeah, it is.
Woo.
It feels good to be like. I just love the vibe. It's a vibe in New Zealand I like.
What is the vibe like?
It's chill. Everyone's real loose, like not like loose like Australia. You can get loose like that, but it's relaxed.
What's the difference between loose like Australia and loose like New Zealand?
Well, Australia's a loose cunts.
What's the difference? What's the difference?
Bam Bam drinks out of a shoe.
Oh,
they don't give a fuck. Aussies like the attitude, and they're cool as well. It can be chill, but you can get some real loose cunts there. Like in New Zealand, like in anywhere, like in America,
right?
You know, but generically speaking, like it's just Australians. Depends where you go. Melbourne's my city. That's my favorite city in Australia. Melbourne, Perth, and then Adelaide. Those are my favorite cities in that order. But yeah, I don't know. I'll probably hit a few other spots as well. See what the vibe's like.
Just keep moving around.
Yeah.
Now, what about American gyms? How many different American gyms have you trained at besides Black Zillions?
Black Zillions. Let me think. I've trained with a few fighters, but maybe I've trained with. Let me think. Who else? I think that's the only gym. I didn't go to ATT. In LA, did I train? Most of the times I'm here. When I'm on holiday, I don't train. I holiday out. I fully, I chill. Yeah, but yeah.
You got a good idea about balance, man.
Yeah, I try. Once in a while, you go too much this side. You have to find it. Okay, go to the other side. And it never stays right in the middle for a long period of time. It's just like, okay, you're leaning this way, go this way. All right, and find the balance. So it's just feeling and being honest with yourself. Objectivity. I say always check yourself. ACY. Always check yourself, no matter what, how you're feeling. Until if something gets me, like maybe if I see something that makes me feel a way, like I get jealous. I'm like, why do I feel that way? Why am I hating? You know, like it has nothing to do with me. And I find out where it comes from, and then eventually it's like you identify the monster, and then you slaughter it, you kill it.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I learn. I'm coming up. I'm learning.
You're a bad motherfucker. Listen, man,
my
we're going
man.
to wrap this up. Thank you,
appreciate
brother.
it.
I'm glad we got a chance to do this. Last
it's the first
minute,
one.
threw it in.
Easy
The
as.
first one. That's right. It's the first one. We're going to do this some more.
I get more comfortable the way these go on.
Dude, you were great, man. It was fun. It was
appreciate it. Thank you.
Stylebender on Twitter, Stylebender on Instagram. Everywhere.
Catch me. Slide in my DMs.
Everywhere. Slide into the DMs.
Oh, man. That was fun. I needed that, so I was like,